One more day. Mike Lefko here with you. Brock coming a little bit later as per usual. We got one more day to wrap this one up, and then Salk's back. Training camp in full force beginning today for the Seahawks. They're out on the field a little bit later this afternoon, so a lot of Seahawks football to talk about. A lot of Mariners baseball to talk about. What a big day yesterday. The Kade Anderson press conference. He was there. His family was there. His younger brother got to go on the field with him the entire time. That was really cool to see. Just to see how in awe he was of Cal Raleigh. And then, of course, the best news. The Mariners win. All is right in the world.
And Walter's back.
Walter is back. I think Logan mentioned that after the game, that he likes to get angry with himself. And then he said, pitchers are weird. It's true. But yes, to see Walter, that alter ego of Logan Gilbert, come to life and just dominate. That was impressive. Jeff Passan knew it. I mean, we'll hear from him again at 6:30, but I kind of asked him, is there any concern about Gilbert or George Kirby haven't gone deep into outings yet? We haven't seen that Logan Gilbert that we saw on opening night since the injury. And Jeff Passan was like, nah, I'm not too concerned about it. And he knows. That's why he's the expert, because all Logan Gilbert does is retire the first 12 he faces, goes 6 1/3, allows 2 hits, and the Brewers' 11-game win streak comes to an end. Thoroughly impressive all around. Now, was there any part of you that was a little bit worried as this no-hitter went further and further? Just because everyone's been scarred by the last 2 no-hit bids of Brian Wu going into the 8th inning, and then George Kirby a couple nights ago taking that no-hitter into the 6th. It was almost joking, well, hopefully this one doesn't end poorly again like the other 2 did.
I don't know that I was worried, but I think in my mind I was hoping that, if he did start to slip, that they'd take him out earlier than the last couple of times. Where I got nervous was the end of the game. Love Munoz, but that was a little scary.
Yeah, I think we can dive into that. We'll talk a lot about the trade deadline as well, because we have some thoughts after Jeff Passan broke down what it might cost to get Suarez or any of these trade deadline candidates. So we will weigh in on that at 9 o'clock and then a little bit later in the show as well. But the bullpen, yeah, certainly showed that you might need another reliever. When you have to bring in Matt Brash in the middle of an inning and then he's not there to pitch the 8th. Edward Bizardo did great. He was the stress-free option there, if you will. But Brash had to work himself out a little bit of a jam. And then the Brewers got traffic against Munoz, as we've seen some teams do at times against Andres Munoz. The stuff's still filthy from Munoz, though, and he got out of it. But you can see why the bullpen is a concern and why it's a necessity for the Mariners to upgrade down the stretch, because that's just one game. They play a lot of close games. So what happens today? Day game after a night game, 12:40 first pitch. If you do need to go to your bullpen in the 6th or in the 7th, and you're in this one-run game or you're in a tie game, you're not going to have Munoz available. Probably won't have Brash available. And then that becomes the question of, hey, it's not just one game over the course of a season. When you have 61 games left and then the playoffs, you need these high-leverage relievers night in and night out, especially in a circumstance like this where you're playing the best team in baseball. You had a close start to a game against them on night 1. You had a very close game yesterday against them. Shut out the Brewers, 1-0 win. So now the question becomes, okay, what's next? How does that bullpen bounce back if you need a guy in a high-leverage situation? That's a worry for later, though, Maura. We have plenty of time before we have to worry about that. Let's just revel in the win, in the fact that you had Logan Gilbert do what he does, and then you had the guy who everything has fallen on his shoulders this year, and all Cal Raleigh did was, well, he delivered the only run of the game.
Here comes the 2-2. Swung on, blasted, lift off right field. This one is gonna go. It is out of here. Cal Raleigh, number 39 on the season, and he has given the Mariners lead with one big swing. And he has tied Ken Griffey Jr. for the most home runs in franchise history in their first 5 seasons. Unbelievable. Cal Raleigh continues to amaze.
I don't have anything else to say. Gary summed it all up right there. I mean, we do have to talk for 3.5 more hours, so I will talk more about Cal Raleigh. But what else do you say about him? Every night there's a new milestone, a new something that he accomplishes that no one else has done in the history of baseball. There's all these stats out there about Cal is the first catcher or first player to homer in a 1-0 game where he's the only run, and then also catch a 10 strikeout, 2-hit game. You can find a stat for any situation. But what Raleigh is doing is just unprecedented. 39 home runs to lead baseball. And what might have gotten lost after that home run and the fact that the Mariners relied so much on Logan Gilbert was the fact that they knocked out Jacob Mizrowski early. 3 2/3 innings. That was huge. You guys saw or heard how he was dominating. He came out every single pitch, over 100 miles an hour. A big part of that first inning, driving that pitch count up, Cal Raleigh, 10 pitch at bat. That was big. That was huge for Raleigh.
I know Lyle was nervous about facing Mizrowski.
Lyle, you were nervous? We all were nervous.
I mean,
think,
he's
yeah.
really good. The dude chucks 97-mile-an-hour sliders, so yeah.
His changeup was 93. I think they clocked it in at. So, yeah, 100-plus mile-an-hour fastballs, 97-mile-an-hour sliders, 93-mile-an-hour changeup, which just seems unfair. And then we talked a little bit about the extension, the furthest extension in all of baseball. So he's basically already touching the batter when he's releasing that pitch. So it comes in a lot faster than it appears, and it literally appears at 100-plus miles an hour. So for the Mariners to get to him, Arozarena had a nice knock off of him. Raleigh drove the pitch count up, got him out of the game early. You make a team's bullpen work for an extended amount of time. And then, yeah, the flip side, we were talking about the Mariners bullpen. Look at the Brewers now. Have to come back after a night game. They used a lot of their bullpen coming back on a day game, and their starter tonight is good as well. Quinn Priester coming off a very solid outing. But when you get to a team's bullpen early, good recipe for success, certainly went the Mariners' way. And what I really appreciated, and I love the fun storylines that pop up around sports, whether it's a promotion that one fan base is doing or a restaurant, but Rick brought this up on the radio broadcast last night, and I had to investigate further. So George Webb, it's a franchise chain in Milwaukee. They promised free burgers if the Brewers won 12 games in a row. Apparently, it was a promotion dating way back to when their original owner, George Webb, took over. I don't know the details. I've kind of read them earlier. Way back when the Brewers went on their first big win streak in like 1982. He had promised a 12-game win streak. We'll get you free burgers. Promised it again, and Cal Raleigh denied them. Denied them free food. Okay, the promotion dates back to the 1940s. When George Webb predicted 12 wins in a row for the then minor league Brewers. It became popular in 1987. Milwaukee won 13 straight. They all got their free burgers, and he promised again that if they won, they would get free burgers. So Cal Raleigh is a friend to the George Webb franchise. He saved them, thousands of dollars? Thousands of burgers, certainly, but he did deny all of Milwaukee free food. So I think that's kind of funny.
Milwaukee seems to do that a lot. Do you remember a couple years ago during the playoffs, the promotion that bar in Milwaukee did with Jesse Winker?
I don't remember the exact one, but what were the details? Because there's another one I'm thinking of with Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, Milwaukee despised Jesse Winker.
Yeah.
And he hit 197, I believe, when he was there. So as a way to do a promotional night when the Brewers were playing the Mets, where Jesse Winker ended up being well-liked in New York, that Milwaukee bar did $1.97
for his
beer
average.
nights,
I do remember this, yeah.
Packed in that place with people just rooting on Jesse Winker's downfall during the playoffs.
There was some promotion they did as well when Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, and they had promised every time we'll have to look it up, but every time like the Jets would lose, fans would drink for free or they'd get a discounted rate, obviously, and people in Wisconsin love to drink. But yeah, the Milwaukee Journal said that George Webb, the franchise chain, was preparing to give away 100,000 burgers. So Cal Raleigh, you're a hero to this franchise because you just saved them a ton of money. Now, everyone in Milwaukee probably upset they don't get free food, but good job, Cal Raleigh. The only run driven in a 1-0 win. It's a huge one for the Mariners to get that win off Jacob Mizrowski to end the Brewers' 11-game win streak and to put themselves in a strong spot in the wild card. Now, the division didn't make up ground. We'll get into that. The wild card, they're starting to solidify their position in those playoff standings. We will talk about that and the significance of one injury. When we're looking at this AL West race, there's an injury that is pretty significant. We learned a little bit more about. Get into that coming up next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
You're listening to Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. This hour is brought to you by Fred Meyer Pharmacy, with a special message for Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. Your neighborhood Fred Meyer Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at fredmeyer.com/pay or update. See your Fred Meyer Pharmacy for details.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you gotta look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
If it's game day or any day, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are your MVPs for trucks and SUVs. Experience the power of choice with the Tundra at 1.99% APR for 72 months. The Tacoma leasing at $299 a month. The all-electric BZ4X with 0% APR and the RAV4 leasing at just $319 a month. Find that all-star lineup at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid for below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Hi, my name is Jordan Gage, head of school at King Schools. Is tuition cost the #1 thing keeping you from making the leap into Christian education? Did you know that King Schools awards over $2.3 million in tuition assistance every year? 25% of the families that make up this incredible Kings community utilize our variable tuition program to make Kings more accessible. The team at Kings would love to have you on campus for a tour and consultation to see how to make it possible for your family to experience the difference in Christian education at Kings.
Mention this ad and no application fee. Go to joinkings.org for more info.
Bump here, letting you know West Hills Ford, the Big Four store, is celebrating the Ford Summer Sales event with incredible offers, like the 2024 Ford F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive, available now through August 1st with $14,982 off MSRP for qualified buyers. West Hills Ford, the Big Four store, just off the Auto Center Way exit, Highway 3, Bremerton, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it! The biggest scuba sale in America starts Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Clearance prices on masks, regulators, computers, fins, tanks, PCs, free photo and video seminars, free fitting, and incredible savings on a custom-fit dry suit. Big savings on beginner, advanced, and specialty classes. Underwater Sports' 47th Annual Divers Fair starts this Thursday at the North Seattle Underwater Sports Store, 107th and Aurora Avenue North. Don't miss the biggest scuba sale in America.
Is your car road trip ready? Don't get stranded. Get to Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Bucky's has been preparing cars, trucks, and SUVs for safe, worry-free travel for over 50 years. We take care of your car with experience and good old-fashioned customer service. For all your oil changes, brakes, AC charging, and factory maintenance, choose Bucky's. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit Bucky's.com. Bucky's, where your car feels right at home.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
The Mariners needed only two things last night in their 1-0 win. One, a Cal Raleigh home run. The second, Logan Gilbert, who turned in his best start since returning from injury. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, no runs, and just 2 hits allowed.
Yeah, we're getting ahead pretty good after the first or second. Felt like I was just keeping the ball low. That helped out. Fastball come in, slider down, splitter when we were ahead, and Cal had a good mix back there. Pretty good game plan, so felt like it worked.
And, you know, things are working well for Gilbert when that splitter is darting around and batters are swinging and missing, as they did last night. 70% whiff rate on that splitter. He got 10 swings, got 7 whiffs off of those, and then the slider, almost similar, 60% whiff rate on that. So all those pitches working effectively for Logan Gilbert. It all combines for one of his best starts of the season. Retires the first 12 batters he faces. Strikes out 10. Of course, does not walk any. Doesn't allow the run. The Mariners win 1-0 to even up the series. And it's a chance for a big series win happening in just a few hours. A day game, 12:40 first pitch, 11:30 pregame. Highly recommend listening right here on Seattle Sports, that pregame. Have a nice interview coming up with Logan Evans. Talk to him about Lyle. No, did not talk to him about Lyle. No, Logan Evans has a great connection with Brandon Garcia, so I talked to him about that. You'll hear that with pregame coverage beginning at 11:30. And then it's a huge game because the Mariners have a chance to take a series from the team that came in with the best record in baseball. Luis Castillo's on the mound, and the M's have been very good in rubber games this season. 10-3 in rubber games this season. We know what the Astros have been doing. We'll get to that in a second. But with the Astros trying to get out of reach in the division and a pretty packed wild card race, a big opportunity this afternoon for the Mariners.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Training camp also begins for the Seahawks later this afternoon. Practice number 1 today. Mike McDonald's second season. It's really an intriguing rookie class with Jalen Milroe headlining a group that a lot is expected out of. Elijah Arroyo, perhaps a starting role for him. Gray Zabel, the expectation he is a plug-and-play start on the first game of the year after you draft him in the first round at guard. So with all these rookies, Mike McDonald broke down what his message was to the rookies during OTAs.
And our message to them is just like, look, we're just going to you're going to just go through it. Just stay in the fight with it. And at some point, you know, those connected tissues are just going to connect a little bit quicker the next time, and then connect a little bit quicker the next time. All of a sudden, you know, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're going to be, you know, being productive, being able to make plays, contribute to the team. You know, give yourself a chance to make the squad and really prove yourself at the beginning of your career. So, but right now, like all the inputs, really pleased with that, and we'll see how the summer goes with them. And you know, we got to take that momentum into training camp.
Yeah, training camp's here now, and then the first game of the preseason arrives quickly Thursday, August 7th against the Raiders, who happen to sign Jamal Adams yesterday. That adds a curious wrinkle to the proceedings with Pete Carroll there, Jamal Adams there as well. And with training camp, important to note that our training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton. So we'll have all our shows out there. The entirety of Seahawks training camp begins today with the Seahawks on the field for practice number 1 and then preseason game number 1 coming up on Thursday, August 7th, the first of 2 preseason games. The Seahawks will host at Lumen Field the Chiefs, also a team that the Seahawks will host in the preseason. We heard from Jerry Jones yesterday about why the Cowboys haven't signed Micah Parsons to a new contract. Micah Parsons is at training camp. He went all the way out there to Oxnard. The Cowboys go all the way to California for their training camp. Parsons is there, and he weighed in on what Jerry Jones had to say about him.
Nah, but I'm gonna talk to him. I just thought, as a whole, like, everyone's situation is differently. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, I'm here for my teammates. I'm not here to please another grown man. I'm here for them. I want to be here with Trey, watch him rehab, watch him get on the field, watch his growth. I want to be here battling with Terrence Steele. Like, I'm here for these guys. I'm not here for him.
Yeah, Parsons is at least at training camp. Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin is not there. He's holding out. He looks for a contract extension. All those wide receivers and their big new deals they signed in the offseason. Now McLaurin, who feels like, hey, his production warrants a little more money. He's getting paid in the mid to high 20s. That's not a lot compared to these deals we've seen receivers sign. So Terry McLaurin holding out while he waits for a contract extension.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
As we look around the division and wild card race for the Mariners, the Astros did win. They hold on for a 3-1 win, despite the Diamondbacks loading the bases with no outs in the 9th. Back-to-back nights, the Diamondbacks have had the tying or go-ahead run at the plate in the 9th, unable to get the job done. So the Astros take the series. They extend keep their lead at 5 games in the division. But there's some good news in the wild card. The Red Sox, they lost. They fall 4-1 to the Phillies. It came at the hands of a complete game, 12 strikeout, no walk performance from the Phillies starter Christopher Sanchez. So the Mariners have moved into the second wild card spot. Now, the Rays did win, so they stay right where they've been. But now it's the Red Sox trying to hold off the Rays. So the Mariners, the second wild card, 3 games back, the Yankees for that top spot. Red Sox at 54-49 in the third spot, and the Rays just a half game back of Boston for that final wild card spot. Now, there was a significant injury update from Astros manager Joe Espada, and we'll see how this affects this final race to the end here, the final 61 games of the regular season. Yesterday, Espada said that it is a, quote, pretty significant injury in regards to that hamstring that Isaac Paredes suffered on Saturday against the Mariners. He's been one of their most consistent and reliable hitters this season. We know how banged up this Astros team is. 16 guys were on the IL when they came to play the Mariners. So Paredes is out for an extended period of time. That adds a whole new dynamic to this race down the stretch. And still, 1 series left between the Mariners and the Astros. One more thing you need to know. The Kraken signed forward Kaapo Kakko to a 3-year contract extension. Kakko had 10 goals and 20 assists in the 49 games he played for the Kraken after they traded for him in mid-December. That is everything you need to know. Final game of the Astros-Diamondback series today, also at 12:40. And then, Lyle, I think you can get back to normal and maybe explain that you're not an Astros fan. You're rooting for them this specific series, and that's it.
I was going to say, people are grilling me on the text line about this. They have been the last couple days. It's not about the rooting for the Astros moving forward. Yeah, it's just a series.
I think I understand that as a Mariners fan. In no circumstances do you root for the Astros.
He also kind of got into it with there's a lot of people that don't want Alex Bregman here under any circumstances because he was an Astro and because of the cheating scandal. And Lyle was arguing with listeners about that. So I think there's some people that hate the Astros that are mad at Lyle.
Is there some residual carryover from that Bregman take?
Maybe, but okay. I'm standing 10 toes down on that forever.
The Bregman take makes more sense because he's not on the Astros. He's a good player, and he's at a position that could help you, especially in the offseason. We were talking about guys that could make a big impact. Yeah, I was a fan of the Bregman signing because why not bring in a player that could help you win? So fans will just have to get over it. Do you want to win, or do you want to hold on to a grudge against the Astros former player who doesn't play for them anymore?
So you're on board with that one, but you're not on board with him rooting for the Astros against the Diamondbacks.
No. Because I think the Diamondbacks, as we heard from Gambo and from Jeff Passan, they're more likely to sell anyway. I don't know if 2 or 3 wins would have changed that. And I understand, and it is fun to kind of think, all right, well, if they lose, they'll be fully out of it. The two things don't necessarily correlate to the Diamondbacks selling to the Mariners necessarily just because they're losing. So while they might sell, they might just turn and go to the Cubs or the Yankees. And so I can't warrant rooting for the Astros in that case because of something that might happen.
Well, maybe I bring up the Astros and guys on the Astros more
Yeah,
than I
you really
realize.
do.
Now
Kyle Tucker.
Well, now the 360 text said, I agree with Lyle on this, and let's go get Kyle Tucker, which somehow I've gone 20 minutes today without bringing up the name Kyle Tucker. Yeah, maybe I do actually do this more than I realize.
All right, we'll go assess that. We'll see how much. We'll maybe audit how much Lyle brings up the Astros. But we are going to catch up with Jeff Passan up next. He's got some great insight on the trade deadline, Logan Gilbert, and much more. So we will come back and hear from Jeff Passan after this on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's one of the most pivotal stretches for the Mariners this season, with just 8 days till the trade deadline.
Mariners plan for the trade deadline.
Obviously, the biggest question, our buddy Jeff Passan, who are the best bats available? It's Gino and it's Naylor.
It would make this team right there with every other team that has World Series aspirations.
Stay plugged in as the Mariners approach the trade deadline on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event, now extended through July 27th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event extended to July 27th. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan, we are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope, powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to Immunoheroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kid kind.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Celebrate 40 years of The Bite. The Bite of Seattle returns to Seattle Center, July 25th to 27th. Over 300 food and retail vendors, plus games and live music. Admission is free. Enjoy a Seattle summer tradition at The Bite of Seattle with delectable multicultural cuisine, live entertainment, and fun for everyone. Enjoy a Friday night screening of Pixar's Ratatouille at the Mural. Taking over Seattle Center July 25th to 27th. Come to The Bite, biteofseattle.com.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay,
Oh,
deep
high
breath.
Five, high five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you. High five, everybody. High five.
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25. New customers only. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mike Lefko and Brock Heward here with you. We got Answer the Question Jerk coming up at 9:45. Brock, I wonder, does Jeff Passan ever submit questions for Answer the Question Jerk? I feel like he has plenty that he would love to ask you and Salk. Yeah.
No, we usually fire his way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he joins us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. ESPN's Jeff Passan with us. Jeff, how are you this morning?
I'm just glad to have a mic upgrade.
It's a mic trade out. I don't know if it's an upgrade. I think that's the.
Oh, it's an upgrade.
Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. That's the criteria for subbing for Salk. You have to be named Mike. So those are my only qualifications. But, Jeff, we were just remarking, actually, on the, routine, everyday occurrence of a walk-off catcher's interference that ended that Red Sox-Phillies game yesterday.
Listen, baseball is a bounty of oddities. And I love the fact that catcher's interference, it actually happens more than it has in the past. It's sort of part of what you get when catchers are taught to put their gloves down and lift them up to try and frame pitches. That's what fools umpires. And so we were bound to see this, but still seeing it when you go to a baseball game, you just never know what you're going to get, and that's the beauty of it.
Jeffrey, we had a guest last hour, Seth from ESPN, and he was part of a group that ranked all of the 32 NFL rosters going into the season as NFL teams begin training camp today and tomorrow. The Mariners are 53-47, exactly 53% winning percentage, 100 games into this season. As we sit here on this Tuesday, right before the trade deadline, where does this roster after 100 games sit out of the 30 in baseball?
I just hope, I wish that they had won yesterday so they could be at 54%.
54%, I know, so close.
Would have been really fitting. It's such a great question because I look at the Mariners and I believe that in this environment right now, where the best baseball team in 2025 on July 22nd is the Milwaukee Brewers at a .600 winning percentage, which equals 97 win pace. There is no dominant team this year, guys. Nothing even close to it. And when you look at the Brewers, it's almost like they remind me in some ways of the Mariners. The Mariners have a star in Cal Raleigh. The Brewers don't have that, but Milwaukee is just so solid at every position. They are relying on their starting pitching, and they have a bullpen full of arms where you're like, who? And yet they're really good. And so I listen, I can absolutely foresee a scenario in which the Seattle Mariners at some point are a top 5 team in baseball. I really do believe that they have the capabilities of being that. And yet I also can foresee it where they're like 15th. And it's just, there's such variance in baseball right now. And the team, the group of contenders is just flattened to the point where the trade deadline is of paramount import. Like, if the Mariners want to be more the top 5 team than top 15 team, they need to go out and do work over the next 9 days. Like, this to me might be the most important time of Jerry Dipoto and Justin Hollander's tenure as the executives running the Seattle Mariners. And I think they have the opportunity to do something really good this year. And I think I said it last week. I will reiterate it every day until the end of the season. You can't waste a Cal Raleigh season like this. You just can't waste a historically great season when it's not just him, but you also have guys around him who are having good years. I look at Randy Arozarena, like what a great pickup that was last year, and how good has he been this season? And Julio has just been what he's been for the last couple of years, but that's still really good. And J.P. Crawford is having a sneaky excellent season. Having him toward the top of the lineup, knowing he's getting on base at the level he is, it's great. But man, you add Gino Suarez and or Josh Naylor to that lineup, and it looks way different. And then this, I think, is something I was not anticipating saying, because I think we've taken for granted what the Mariners' rotation has been in recent seasons, right? Like they've gone out there and they've just put up innings and they've put up numbers and they've put up quality starts and they've been consistent and reliable. If the Mariners' rotation can get back to what it has been and can be at that, top 5 in all of baseball level consistently, that's where this team goes on a rocket ship. That's where they take off. It is in the consistency of that starting pitching, because I think they are, after the trade deadline, going to have the bats to sustain that.
Okay, so I know Mike wants to ask you about your 50 top trade prospects and where the Mariners fit in this, but elaborate, if you wouldn't mind, Jeff, on that headline you just made. You said that this may be the biggest 8-day stretch for Justin and Jerry in their tenure here in leadership with the Seattle Mariners. Give me 2 or 3 reasons why.
Reason number 1, because it is a wide open landscape in Major League Baseball. There is no dominant team. And if you can put yourself in the position where you get one of those golden tickets to get into October, and you have the starting pitching and you have the bats, then you can win a World Series. I firmly believe the Seattle Mariners can win a World Series this year. Would you guys agree with that?
Depending on what they add, yes. With that caveat.
With the current 25-man roster and 40-man roster, no. The current, as we sit here on this Tuesday, this current roster, Jeff, and with all the injuries, I mean, you have 20%
Check back on
of
August
your
1st.
Yeah, 20% of your rotation going in this year. Only Luis Castillo has been the only consistent guy. Well, that's not true. Wu has been consistent. 40%. 40% of it has been consistent there. So as this current 25-man roster looks like, I have a hard time saying that. With the opportunity over the next 8 days, with 2 or 3 additions, Yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable.
Okay. Secondly, I think it's important because from a narrative perspective, it was awesome seeing them go to the playoffs a few years ago.
Yep.
And then the last couple of years, they have just missed by a hair. And I don't think that they can afford another year with a near miss. It speaks to, well, frankly, it speaks to ownership to some extent because they really didn't have much of a budget to work with this offseason, but sometimes executives are not given budgets. And I look at the Milwaukee Brewers, and I know it's an easy thing to say the team with the best record in Major League Baseball right now, be more like them. Well, yeah, duh. But what the Brewers have done extremely well is put processes in place to be good at just about everything. They draft well. They do international well. They trade well. And most of their free agent signings, though on the lower end of things, turn out pretty good. And I think the Mariners are close to that. They haven't hit on free agents for the most part, but trades have been pretty productive internationally. They've done pretty well, and drafting, they've just absolutely killed it. You can argue that the Mariners over the last 5 years have drafted better than any team in Major League Baseball. So, and here's the part that I think is really difficult. In order to get the guys they need to get, they're going to have to give up on players who they drafted and or signed and brought into their system. And the truth is, nobody loves your prospects like you love their prospects, or like you love your prospects. So I think it's going to be awfully interesting to see just how difficult it is to pry certain guys from the Mariners and what they will be willing to pay in a market that is going to be a seller's market. Like, there just aren't enough guys out there to fulfill all the needs of contenders. And accordingly, the prices are going to be high. And are the Mariners an organization that has become more efficient and that looks, they look at their model and they value what their model says. And a lot of times the model is going to say, no, don't overpay for this. But in order to win this year, you're going to have to. So when it gets down to brass tacks, guys, what are they going to be willing to do, and how much are they going to be willing to pay for it?
Well, that leads me kind of right into what you have put out there, your top 50 trade candidates, and it's ranking from, you guys ranked by value for their new team. Then you also put chances of trade, and right there, number one, Eugenio Suarez, and in your article you put chance of trade 90%. So he's sitting there having a ridiculous season. The most coveted trade prospect. He keeps hitting home runs. He's gonna catch cows soon. So that's good news, bad news for a lot of things. But with the season he's having, and with him sitting right there, and you mentioned the seller's market, what do you think it would take if you're the Diamondbacks? How steep of a price are you asking? And at what point do the Mariners have to say, "Yeah, we're gonna do this," or "No, that's too much"?
Well, I think the biggest issue is going to be that as much as the Mariners could use a third baseman, they also could use a first baseman, right? And they also could use a little bit of bullpen help. And I think the New York Yankees probably need a Eugenio Suarez more than the Mariners do. Now, the Yankees do not have the farm system that the Mariners do. And the Yankees have a need for starting pitching in the big leagues right now, where a guy like Cam Schlittler, who, 6'8", up to 99, absolute monster, they probably in other years might be more willing to move him for someone like Suarez. But now the Diamondbacks are going to be looking for pitching. So that puts who in play? Is Logan Evans in play? Like, is that something, I'll ask you guys, is that something that you'd be willing to do for someone in Suarez who's a rental? Maybe not one for one, but if it were Suarez and Naylor, would you be willing to put Logan Evans in that deal? Or are you looking more to go from the position prospect depth that you have. I'll say this. I do think Kade Anderson signing with the Mariners helps them in terms of being willing to trade or being able to trade starting pitching because they have Jarran Reed, and he's awesome. And they have Ryan Sloan, and I think Ryan Sloan actually is, at the end of the day, going to be the better prospect out of those two. I adore Ryan Sloan. I think he has the size, the stuff, the feel, not just for spin and for off speed, but just the feel for pitching that you rarely see in a kid coming out of high school, let alone a high school in the Midwest. So everyone's going to be asking for Ryan Sloan, and that, if that's the line in the stand that the Diamondbacks draw, that's going to be a difficult one for the Mariners to consider. But I think they want more near major league ready starting pitching, and that's what Logan Evans is, right?
Mariners are a little bit like their counterparts that they share the street with there in the Seahawks, in the sense that every draft we go into, save for this year, where we all want to Gray Zabel, like John Schneider does stuff and drafts a name that is unfamiliar and nobody talked about. And the Mariners have done that over the years in some of their different trades and acquisitions. Eugenio is a very familiar name. Present a couple other scenarios, Jeff. Present a couple other maybe not as familiar names that could really elevate and help this roster, as you said, become a legitimate World Series contender.
I mean, as we're looking at third baseman, it's interesting. There are quite a few third basemen available. Ryan McMahon is going to be pricey in terms of dollars at $16 million a year for 2 more years beyond this year. He's played in Colorado his whole career, so when he gets outside of that, you don't know how he's going to adjust. The Mets have a really interesting group of guys with Mark Vientos and Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio, Luis Angel Acuna. They're likely to move one of those infielders. So you would be getting a guy who's under control. And I remember seeing Vientos last year during the postseason. The guy looked like a star. And so Vientos' step backward this year has been a bit of a surprise to me, and you might be able to buy low on a guy like that. Someone like Willie Castro with the Twins has the ability to play multiple positions, including third base. And then you're just looking at sort of lower end guys, Luis Arias, Jonathan India potentially, Yohan Moncada, who's with the Angels right now. Those are upgrades, but are they good enough upgrades? It depends on what else you go out and get. If you're going out and getting a Josh Naylor or a Ryan O'Hearn at first base, then maybe the upgrade at third base doesn't have to be quite the same. But I say be greedy. I just want to see this team win. You do?
You do, Jeff? You do?
Yeah, I do. So every time I come on here, I don't hear complaining about what this team should be. I just want you guys to feel happiness for one time.
Oh, Jeff Passan wants him to win. Jeff Passan wants him in a World Series. You don't think Lyle Goldstein does? You don't think I do? You don't think our bosses do? You don't think the whole city is ready, Jeff?
I wish you could see Brock right now. Veins popping. Face red.
I know. Here's the thing, too. Brock can get red, I bet. Brock's got some tomato in him.
Yeah. It's more of the vein in my neck that just pulsates. You don't think
Is it a neck? You feel like I always picture football players as being forehead vein kind of guys.
My forehead's a 5-head, a 6-head. It's a lot of skin. Now it's just this vein in my aorta right there just starts to pulse. And yeah, I think in everything you've said today, Jeff, I can imagine our audience nodding along, driving. Well, they're not driving. They're stuck on 405 or I-5 right now like a bobblehead. Yes, Jeff, you're right. This is the year that the best team in baseball right now, you're facing them, and they're 7 games better than you. That's the best team at 60-40, and you're at 53-47. And we've seen this, and we've seen pop, and we've seen. So just I guess the overriding question I have, and I'm sorry, Lefko, I've dominated all these questions, is with those moves, would a Castro, an O'Hearn, a really nice reliever, is that enough impact? or do you need a Naylor and a Suarez and just impact difference makers? Can you do it at the B level, or do you need that A level impact?
If there were a guy, Brock, who was available, who would be at the Juan Soto level, I think I might agree with your premise here.
Okay.
Like, go out and get that dude. And as good as Eugenio Suarez, as well as Eugenio Suarez has played, maybe he is that guy. But you guys have also seen bad Gino. Like, when he's on a heater, man, it's a majestic thing. But when he's in a slump, it is the polar opposite of that, and it can get pretty ugly there. And you're like, why is this guy even out there? There is no consistently great bat that's available right now. And so while I'm a guy who abides by the Breaking Bad principle of full measures as opposed to half measures, in this trade market, I'm not sure that there's a full measure that's necessarily going to be worth going for. As long as they do something. Like, there are other contenders right now. I could foresee a scenario in which the Boston Red Sox do nothing at the deadline. They just stand pat with what they've got. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to do a whole lot at the deadline. Certainly not like a hugely impactful move. And so looking around at the landscape of what your competitors are going to do, and you can throw Texas in the mix there. I think the Rangers are going to add, but I'm not sure that they're going to add significantly, and I think they even could subtract. Like Adolis Garcia, for example, is available, and he could be on the move. So I think the Mariners have a real opportunity, not to like sneak into the playoffs. You never want to do that, but I think they're in a good position right now. And to me, this deadline is not necessarily about winning it, right? Like on August 1st, are the Mariners going to be at the top of the list in the winners and losers column on ESPN.com? I don't think they need to be at the top of the list. I just think they need to get better. And I think they need to prioritize getting better. And I think that's their goal right now. Talking with other teams, that's the sense that I've gotten, that the Mariners are, let's put it this way. I have a column that's going to be running tomorrow. It's going to be my final trade deadline preview. And at the top, I have a category called Teams Going Big. And it's teams that are all in and teams that are all out. Teams that are all out, I got the Rockies, White Sox, Pirates, and Nationals. Teams that are all in, the Blue Jays, the Phillies, the Yankees, the Cubs, and the Seattle Mariners.
All right. Can't
That's
wait for that.
Got?
Yeah.
That's all you got left?
No, I'm letting that sink in.
Right.
That's good to see. I was going to see if you're going to take him off track again, Brock. But no, I do have I do have one question to get to, Jeff, before we let you go. And Brock loves to take you down this side street and away from the baseball, and he takes you down these other roads. But we'll bring it back here.
What I like about him.
Yeah, I know. I would, if I was here with you more regularly, I would get us thoroughly distracted, like I do with Brock at times. But as you look at this Mariners pitching, we've been trying to figure out what you can get out of a George Kirby or Logan Gilbert in the second half coming off of injuries this season. And you wrote the book about pitching and about how pitchers recover and all the injuries that come with it. Is it fair to think that we will see a dominant George Kirby at some point and a dominant Logan Gilbert, or are these injuries that they suffered enough to keep them from being back to full health at some point this season?
Well, I think we have seen that from them, though, haven't we?
Well, Gilbert's had short outings. We haven't seen a long outing from Gilbert yet, which has been a little concerning.
Yeah, to me, that's not of great concern in the same way that Shohei Ohtani going only, 2, 3, 4 innings is not of great concern. Now, I know it's a little bit different with the Dodgers because they're going to be in the playoffs, whereas the Mariners are fighting for a playoff spot at this point. But I think being judicious in the way that you deploy your starters is really important because, the one thing that the Mariners, if they're going to win the World Series, can't afford is one of their big arms to be missing time. And, as much as because I wrote the book, I'd like to think of myself as an expert on the matter, I also know enough to know that every guy is different and that the Mariners are throwing George Kirby and Logan Gilbert the way that they are in response to how their arms are feeling. So, yeah, would it be nice for Walter to show up and throw a shutout? Yeah, that's what you're hoping for. That's what you're building toward. But I don't think I'm going to get panicky about that until the middle of September. If he hasn't shown that by September 15th, probably not getting it. But a slow buildup, I'm perfectly fine with that because at this point, it doesn't matter quite as much. It really matters when it comes down to nut cutting time, and we're not there quite yet.
All right, good stuff from Jeff Passan. A lot to weigh in on. His trade deadline piece has dropped. Get Brock's thoughts on that and much more here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
Are you road trip ready? Bucky's Complete Auto Repair will make your car safe and dependable with expert service and old-fashioned care. Brakes, oil change, factory service, and more. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Bucky's.com.
Bump letting you know the Employee Pricing Plus event is on at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. The 2025 Ram 2500 is a beast with class-leading torque and towing. But don't sleep on the new grille, LED lights, and tech upgrades. On sale now for $9,000 off MSRP. Subject to credit approval. Offer ends July 31st. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it!
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Well, we've got a great Wednesday ahead for you. Day one of Seahawks training camp. Jarran Reed will join us at 7:45 to get us a sense of what's going on down there at the VMAC. And Brock, we had to come on and talk about a Mariners win, a Mariners shutout win, 1-0. All you need is a big dumper. All you need is a home run from Cal, some Logan Gilbert, and that's the recipe for a win.
What do you think of the old flamethrower from Milwaukee that we got to see in our park?
He's everything as expected. The velocity's impressive. All of those pitches, not just the fastball, but when you can see triple digits time and time again, at 13 times, just endless amounts of times that he kept throwing that pitch, kept going over 100, and then he comes back with a changeup at 93. That summed up the absurdity of how fast he can throw.
Yeah, he just felt like a reliever to me. I'm like, there's just no way this is sustainable, right? Like, as big as he is and as hard as he seemingly throws, but then the effort, it wasn't as if that was even feeling like max effort to get to 100. And nice to get him out of the game, and I was not surprised in the least to see Walter show up yesterday. Just as Jeff Passan had kind of said to us, these 10, 12 starts that Logan Gilbert's going to get to make here in the final 60 games, going to be a big deal. And if Walter could come out there and be the guy that he has been for so long, and I don't know about you, man, but just to the eye, and not even like the baseball savant numbers or any of the other metrics they look at, just to the eye, that was Logan Gilbert. That was opening day starter Logan Gilbert that just had everything rolling last night.
Yeah, I think a lot goes back to the splitter. And it's been such an effective pitch, a devastating pitch for him. And when he can command that, and when he can get that swing and miss like he did last night, it puts everything else in stark contrast to how easy it is for the hitters. That you can't find that, all right, you're not going to get this fastball. You're still trying to figure out that splitter. Good luck with this slider, because they couldn't touch the slider or the splitter last night. You have all of that rolling. It's exactly what the Mariners needed. And Brock, it kind of adds on to the, look, this is a team that, as Jeff Passan said, I know we'll get into a little bit more at 7:30, that they can win the World Series. I'm not saying that. That's Jeff Passan saying that they can win the World Series this year. When you have a start like Logan Gilbert just showed, this is the reason why people believe that.
Yeah, and that is kind of on the heels of George Kirby's 5 no-hit innings the day before. Obviously, gave up a few runs, but on the heels of Brian Woo's almost 8 no-hit innings in New York. I mean, this is how it's supposed to look. This is how it's supposed to be. This is why those national folks that don't watch it every single pitch of every inning of every day like we do, but kind of look at the more tree-topping level, this is why they make comments like that. This is why the MLB Network guys, all come on and say, hey, most dangerous team. Hey, if these guys can put it together, hey, Bryce Miller can come back into this rotation. Look out. That's why it's been evidence, and certainly in the home ballpark, and hopefully Luis can keep that rolling this afternoon and win this series against these tough Brewers.
Yeah, they have the benefit of taking more well-reasoned, less emotional look where we have to and we like to respond wildly one way or another. So we came on here on Monday, and Lyle and I were fretting about the missed opportunity against the Astros. And that was compounded yesterday morning after the loss to the Brewers. But then all of a sudden, you can smooth all that over with a performance like that. And then it lets you think and believe that as this trade deadline approaches, now just a little over a week away. It's a week from Thursday, that trade deadline. Well, you build off this, and you can look, and you can see, all right, if Luis Castillo comes out there and does what he does so well at home, his home splits have been terrific this season. You can envision that series win against the Brewers and what follows after that and then what might happen at the trade deadline.
Yeah, tough to argue that over the last couple weeks, and obviously the Brewers had won, 11 in a row? And save for them, tough to argue that there's not been more momentum, more story, more just energy built for any team in baseball more than the Seattle Mariners, right? And obviously some of it was the stumble in New York and the big lights and everything else, and then the response, and then the All-Star game, and all the Mariners being a part of it, and then coming back and winning a series against Houston, and now putting yourself in position with the Rock, as you said, getting the ball where he's been so good, so dominant at home this season to win yet another series against the best team in baseball. Yeah, it's hard to write a script, honestly, of anybody else, save for these Brewers that have had just kind of more juice, more talk, more energy than our own beloved Seattle Mariners.
And Brock, as Jeff promised, his big article, his final trade deadline piece, it did drop this morning, just minutes ago, and he has the Mariners in the teams going big, all-in category. So he has one overarching teams going big, but that also includes some bad teams. So I was reading, all of a sudden I got to the Rockies. Oh, wait a second. No, not the Rockies. Oh, they're going big because they're all out. But his teams in the going big category all in, it's the Yankees, the Cubs, Phillies, Blue Jays, and the Mariners.
Yeah.
So among the top of baseball right here, the Cubs, who now with the Brewers again have one of those best records in the National League. The Phillies, that timeline is World Series. Certainly the Yankees after getting there last year, and the Blue Jays in the midst of a terrific season. The Mariners are among that level for Jeff Passan, and his best fit, actually, so he lists the biggest need and best fit. It is not Suarez. His best fit, Josh Naylor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I understand that, and I think it's just the kind of quality at bats that Naylor gives you night in and night out. It's obviously playing that first base position that's also, I think, down the stretch here and into hopefully a deep playoff run, a need for you, and yeah, just some of kind of the grit and edge he brings. And as you rattle those teams off there, Mike, doesn't it just totally reinforce a little bit of what Jeff said to us yesterday, that this thing is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
There is not an Atlanta team that's going to win 100 games. There is not a Dodgers team this year that's going to win 110 games. There is not a Yankees team that's going to win 100 games. There's just nobody in baseball that is that overwhelming this season. And because of it, it's not just one or two teams that should make bold moves. It's 5 teams. And these Mariners are one of those 5. And according to my little Twitter audience, and I know we'll get to that here in just a bit as well, about 77% of them say, yeah, let's go. This is go time now. There's enough pieces here. These guys have shown us enough, and Cal continued to be Cal. And I love the home run, but I also love that 10-pitch at bat against Miz earlier in the game that helped get that freak show out. So he could do some damage to one of those relievers. So, yeah, let's go, man. The time is now. The urgency is high. As you said, training camp begins today. The trade deadline is 1 week from tomorrow. The calendar has turned. This is go time.
A lot to get to. It's going to be exciting. A lot to talk about over these next few weeks because, you mentioned it yesterday, that preseason schedule gets here very quickly, so we'll talk about that. We will dive a little bit deeper into what Passan broke down with us yesterday about cost of acquiring a Geno Suarez, a Naylor, or both, and maybe throw some options out there as well, and then kind of dive into everything that we expect at a Seahawks training camp. Jarran Reed will join us at 7:45 to set the tone for the Seahawks, but there was a big injury for one contender in the American League. We'll hear about that and how it affects the Mariners. Coming up next, Mike Lefko and Brock Heward with you. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Seattle home prices, well, they just keep going up, and you might be ready to take advantage. If you're getting ready to sell or just moved into a new home, now is the time to get a thorough inspection of your crawl space and attic. And don't do it yourself. You don't want to be crawling around in there. You probably don't even really know what to look for. It's Mike Salk here, and Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to, so you can know if there's anything going on in your crawl space or attic without having to crawl into and evaluate those spaces on your own. A free inspection will let you know if your home is energy efficient and if the air you're breathing is clean and safe. Plus, there are some really great utility rebates available right now to help you with the cost of the new installation if it's needed. How nice would it be to get someone else to cover that cost? Had them out to my house, and it was a great idea. Did that free corner-to-corner inspection, found some issues, they took the pictures, showed them to me, and then solved the problem. No issues since. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for RLE. That's Refractive Lens Exchange. Now, Dr. Kopstein started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest. King LASIK plus K2 Vision equals freedom vision for every stage of life. No glasses, no contacts, readers, or cataracts. Now, if you're somebody that struggles with distance vision and now you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top: you never develop a cataract. Now, if you're somebody like me that had a pair of readers in every room of the home, in your car, you had to bring them into the restaurant with you. Otherwise, like me, you couldn't read the menu. That has all been rectified thanks to RLE. So whether it's LASIK, EVO ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors to recommend what's best for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh
two-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The biggest scuba sale in America starts Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Clearance prices on masks, regulators, computers, fins, tanks, BCs, free photo and video seminars, free fitting, and incredible savings on a custom-fit dry suit. Big savings on beginner, advanced, and specialty classes. Underwater Sports' 47th Annual Divers Fair starts this Thursday at the North Seattle Underwater Sports Store, 107th and Aurora Avenue North. Don't miss the biggest scuba sale in America.
Want to cut your home energy bills, breathe cleaner air, and improve comfort? The answer, AeroSeal from Home Comfort Alliance. This advanced process seals leaks in your ductwork, improving efficiency and air quality. Normally $2,500. Right now, for PSC customers, get AeroSeal for as little as $99 when they install a furnace or heat pump. Plus, save up to 25% on remaining 2024 heat pumps and air conditioners from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Mariners only needed two things to get a win last night. One of them was this.
Here comes the 2-2. Swung on, blasted, lift off right field. This one is gonna go. It is out of here. Cal Raleigh, number 39 on the season, and he has given the Mariners the lead with one big swing. And he has tied Ken Griffey Jr. for the most home runs in franchise history in their first 5 seasons. Unbelievable. Cal Raleigh continues to amaze.
Brock, Cal's going to break records I didn't even know existed. He keeps breaking things and setting new records and new marks for this and that and every which way.
Just as you've enjoyed jumping on the old text chain,
yeah.
Getting back together when you host the show, I can only imagine Goldie and Gary and Rizzers, like their text chain, is they're just digging into information on the nightly basis. Okay, what can we find now? Okay, Cal hits number 40 tonight. What do we got? You know, just the back and forth nature, because what he's done has just been meteoric. It's been historic, and for the Mariners, let's hope it just continues to roll this way, because when he hits bombs, this team finds a way to win.
Yeah, that was the one thing they needed. The second thing they needed was Logan Gilbert. The return to form, turned in his best start since coming back from injury. 6 1/3, retired the first 12 batters he faced. 10 strikeouts, no runs, no walks, just 2 hits allowed. It was everything you hope for Logan Gilbert. Gets you excited moving forward, what he can do. And then a chance for a series win. Happens in a few hours. Don't have to wait long, Brock. Pre-game coverage begins at 11:30. You might want to tune in to that. I would highly recommend tuning in at 11:30 a.m. to pre-game coverage on Seattle Sports. 12:40 first pitch. Good pitching matchup as well. Luis Castillo on the mound for the Mariners. They're 10-3 in rubber games this season. That surprise you?
No, I mean they just were so hot in the beginning of the year with that, and kind of built that momentum there. And no, I think when you can pitch and you can roll out these guys day after day after day after day, it gives you a chance in the opener of any series, and certainly gives you a chance in the rubber match. How about this with Logan Gilbert? Even though it's been a bumpy ride this season with some of the injury and maybe not going as long in these games as we'd expected, guy still has a whip now back under 1. 0.98 whip with that. Showcase last night, 10 strikeouts, no walks, just an efficient, dominant, awesome playoff feeling kind of win last night in the park.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Seahawks are on the field later today for practice number 1 of training camp. That smile, you can't contain it on your face, Brock. Football is back. They're out there, the pads. You know what I think about when I think of you thinking of football on day one? Remember that Kenny Chesney song, The Boys Will Fall? There's something smell the grass and the boys will fall. Yeah, that's what I just think of.
Hey,
you.
Lyle, why don't
it.
you find that song so maybe we can play that to come back to one of the segments.
Do you think
today?
Lyle knows who Kenny Chesney is? That's like way before he was
You don't need
born.
to find it, Lyle. It's country. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's what I think of. But yeah, it's the Seahawks out there for practice. And you know what, Brock? Guess who they're going to see in preseason game number 1, August 7th. It happens quickly. The Raiders, who happened to sign Jamal Adams yesterday.
I think they signed Walter Jones, Steve Largent. Who else did Pete sign yesterday? He signed a bunch of former Seahawks, 3 or 4 of those guys, getting a crack at it, getting a chance at it. I'll talk about Jamal and the rest of them in Blue 88 here a little bit later in the show. You know why I was also smiling, Lefko?
Why is that?
It's 12 years ago in 2013 when Salk was on his Boston sabbatical. I remember so vividly this day with Danny O'Neill sitting there at the picnic table. The schedule was such that we were out there. It was morning practices, and there was a bald eagle up in a tree, and the sun was rising over Lake Washington. And I just gave this like big old monologue to open the whole show. And of course, the go-to guy, Jim Moore, who was then in the afternoons, is like, "That was ridiculous." That was so over the top. Oh,
yeah.
Woo! Come on, Kenny.
I knew that would get him going. Gross?
So good.
I do like the montage they did. So it was ESPN that put out like then an NFL kind of video to that. And they had your guy Peyton narrating some things and all of it. Yeah. That part I like.
I watch that regularly.
Do you? Of course
Yes.
you do. Yeah, it's in the regular rotation. I'm surprised you didn't watch it already today. Now that I brought it up, go watch it after we're done here. I might as well, too. So, all right, Seahawks back on the field. Training camp practice number 1. Jamal Adams signs with the Raiders. They will see them on August 7th, their first preseason game.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Brock, last day for Lyle to be excited about the Astros. We give him grief. But yes, it's only for one more day because he has been firm that he's rooting for the Diamondbacks to lose. And they did lose again. Astros hold on for the 3-1 win. Diamondbacks loaded the bases, couldn't score with no outs in the 9th. So depending on if you are rooting against the Astros, that was bad. If you're rooting for the Astros to keep the Diamondbacks from thinking they have a chance to be buyers, well, this was good. They lost again. Astros win the series. Some more good news in the wild card, Brock. Red Sox, they lost 4-1. So the Mariners, your Seattle Mariners, on the second wild card spot right now.
Yeah, I think I got my eyes on that bigger price. And I bet you Lyle does too. And I understand it, he and TJ and crew, that you want to make sure that the market is open, that the market is available, that teams like the Diamondbacks and some of these others, the Orioles, that if you have an opportunity for some of their players that they are indeed sellers. I would think if Gambo joined us Monday after the Diamondbacks had swept St. Louis back to 500, 4 games back in that wild card. Even then he said, listen, even if they sweep the Astros, there's just too many teams to hop over and jump over all of these expiring contracts. There should be opportunity. And I certainly felt that way with Jeff yesterday, didn't you? And just listening to him, the amount of conversation that is going on now around the league as the gears are shifted from the draft to this deadline a week from tomorrow, there should be some, not just activity, there should be some action.
One more thing you need to know with the Astros. Houston manager Joe Espada yesterday didn't give a timeline and didn't say anything more, but with Isaac Paredes and that hamstring injury we saw him suffer against the Mariners on Saturday, Espada said it's, quote, pretty significant. That sounds ominous for the Astros. Already down Jeremy Pena and Yordan Alvarez, and now pretty significant for Isaac Paredes. So the division could still be within reach. 5 games back for the Mariners. A series that looms at the end of the year. Final road series of the year comes up against the Astros. That is going to be a huge one, and that's everything you need to know. But Brock, one more thing that I think all of our listeners need to know. The Seahawks preseason opener, home opener, is August 7th. We want to send one of you and 3 friends, or just one of you and 3 other people you might not like, but we want to send 4 people to watch the Seahawks take on the Raiders in person. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab, and you will find out how. Now, if you don't have the app, simply text app to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download. Enter daily to increase your chances to win. And this contest runs through Monday, July 28th. You'll get 4 tickets to the Seahawks home opener against the Raiders. And CP Carroll. Who wouldn't want to do that? That's going to have some, for a preseason game, that's going to have a lot of intrigue.
It will. And you'll just see him bouncing around and hugging everybody and chomping his gum and his size 14 Nike Cortezes or whatever he wears, Air Force Ones, Air Max. It'll be great. And he'll play his guys. That's the other thing. I don't think he'd come into this building and come into this situation in Vegas and just sit everybody. So it will certainly be juiced up in the building.
All right, Brock, well, you threw out an epic poll yesterday. You got the masses churning with some responses. So we're going to unveil the results of your epic Twitter poll about the Mariners and then dig into a little bit more about this trade deadline. Coming up next year on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's one of the most pivotal stretches for the Mariners this season, with just 8 days till the trade deadline.
Mariners plan for the trade deadline.
Obviously, the biggest question, our buddy Jeff Passan, who are the best bats available? It's Gino and it's Naylor.
It would make this team right there with every other team that has World Series aspirations.
Stay plugged in as the Mariners approach the trade deadline on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25. New customers only. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
If it's game day or any day, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are your MVPs for trucks and SUVs. Experience the power of choice with the Tundra at 1.99% APR for 72 months. The Tacoma leasing at $299 a month. The all-electric BZ4X with 0% APR and the RAV4 leasing at just $319 a month. Find that all-star lineup at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
Seattle Sports is giving you a shot at 4 tickets to see the Seahawks host the Raiders August 7th. Just open the Seattle Sports app, tap the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. Enter daily from July 23rd through 28th. Full details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Trade deadline looming in baseball. It's kind of sad when it comes and goes because then we don't have the trade deadline to talk about. Brock, we've spent so much time theorizing, weighing in on who you want to bring back, who you give up, and all of that, and then it's here and it's gone. You don't have it to focus on anymore. But until it gets there, we will dive in. We will analyze every single potential trade, this is who I'd let go, no, this is who I want to keep. And you did that yesterday, right? You threw it out there to the masses.
I did. Pretty, kind of pretty simple. I didn't label this one epic poll. This was hashtag more simple poll. And just in the sense that it was a yes, no.
Okay.
Right? Epic polls.
Wait, your question wasn't a yes, no?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay. You gave some qualifications, but you're right. The actual poll itself, sure.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The actual was just a yes, no. So hard to be epic when it's just a yes, no kind of answer. But I said, hey, Mariners fans, pretty simple question. Would you trade 2 of the Mariners' top 10 prospects for Suarez and Naylor? And then I said, for example, Harry Ford and Jarangelo. And what you find in these polls, and pollsters will typically do this, the first 500 responses is pretty much what you're going to get, whether that turns into 5,000 or 50,000 votes on that deal, and these numbers have stayed pretty much right here, and it's almost 3/4. 72% of Mariners fans say yes. 28% say no. Now, in the comments section, and there was a lot of comments, the majority of the comments come from those saying no, in the sense that, hey, man, you gotten this far. It's just a rental. I don't want to give up these great players. This is, you built all the farm system up, yada, yada, yada. Those tend to be a little bit more of the vocal no's, but 72%, by and large, say it's time to go for it.
Well, I do have a bit of an issue.
Okay.
Because you kind of led the witnesses here by putting Harry Ford and Jarangelo St.
Okay.
Let them come to their own conclusion. I mean, maybe they wanted 2 other prospects. Maybe 2 tough, higher ones could have been more than they're willing to give up. Because what if some people rightly believe that Harry Ford has no use here on the big league club, as we've come to realize. So I think when you label it like that, maybe it sways the perspective of, that's much more palatable than if they were going to give up
Laz Montez and Colt
a
Emerson.
shortstop prospect. That the core of what's good about the Mariners right now, outfielders and shortstops. Now, if you put one of those 2, maybe that sways it a little bit, or if you could eliminate it completely. But I think you're right, getting along the mindset of they just understand. And did you answer your own poll? What do you think?
Oh, I would have said yes to that for sure. And I think, quite honestly, not only is Arizona a good trade partner, as we've talked about here for the last couple of weeks, because of these positions of need for you, I think they're a good trade partner because you know what they also need? They also need a catcher. You know what they need, according to Gambo and many others? They need major league pitching, right? They've got 2 expiring contracts. They do not have much in their rotation coming up. And so, you do have in Drangelo a guy that I'm not going to say is major league ready next year, but he's on the cusp of that. And a former first-round pick and coming out of your system that has produced so many different studs, especially your first-round picks, some pretty good pedigree there. So that's really why I put those 2 more than anything. I was trying to find a pitcher. I don't think Sloan is as high as Jeff Passan, and so many are on him. He is a high school kid that's going to be years away from the big league. So they're trying to find a deal. And a deal where you've got kind of the right guys in the right spots, and they certainly have a couple major leaguers that could bolster your lineup big time.
Yeah, I think that seems easy and palatable from the Mariners' standpoint, but we know in a trade negotiation, it never seems to be as smooth as this proposal seems good. All right, let's just assume the other team will take it. And I don't know, not to kind of pick apart your poll here, because I'm overwhelmingly yes. If it's that exact scenario, absolutely. It's a huge win. The Mariners come away with a steal. They have taken Arizona for all they're worth. If it only takes 2 prospects to get both Suarez and Josh Naylor, I think it's going to take 2 to get one of them. So how about that, to follow up on your epic poll?
Okay.
What about if we add on to it, Brock? Because it seems like there's a...
Can I hear cut 11 from Passan yesterday?
Okay. It seems like there's a consensus right now on your poll there because, people kind of agree that this Mariners team, if they can do that, it'll help their chances. But here was Jeff Passan on the potential cost of acquiring Gino Suarez.
I think the biggest issue is going to be that as much as the Mariners could use a third baseman, they also could use a first baseman, right? And they also could use a little bit of bullpen help. And I think the New York Yankees probably need a Eugenio Suarez more than the Mariners do. Now, the Yankees do not have the farm system that the Mariners do, and the Yankees have a need for starting pitching in the big leagues right now, where a guy like Cam Schlittler, who 6'8", up to 99, absolute monster. They probably in other years might be more willing to move him for someone like Suarez. But now the Diamondbacks are going to be looking for pitching.
You want a little more? You want more pitching options here? Here was Passan kind of elaborating on which pitching options that they might be looking for from the Mariners.
Is Logan Evans in play? Maybe not 1-for-1, but if it were Suarez and Naylor, would you be willing to put Logan Evans in that deal? Or are you looking more to go from the position prospect depth that you have? I'll say this. I do think Kade Anderson signing with the Mariners helps them in terms of being willing to trade or being able to trade starting pitching, because they have Jarran Reed, and he's awesome. And they have Ryan Sloan, and I think Ryan Sloan actually is, at the end of the day, going to be the better prospect out of those 2. I adore Ryan Sloan. Everyone's going to be asking for Ryan Sloan, and that if that's the line in the stand that the Diamondbacks draw, that's going to be a difficult one for the Mariners to consider. But I think they want more near major league ready starting pitching, and that's what Logan Evans is, right?
So to add on to that, Brock, what if, in addition to your poll of Senja and Ford, for both of those 2, the Diamondbacks also come back and say, we want Logan Evans? So all 3 of those, a major league ready pitcher, those 2 prospects who are close, for both those guys, how does that affect that decision?
Yeah, I obviously I think it probably creates a few more no's because you're just giving away more and more and more. But I think, and I'll just kind of speak for the mass response there. It is like, if not now, when?
Yeah.
You have built this thing for this purpose, right? You have saved this money for that trip to Italy. You have developed, you have shown, as Jeff said to us yesterday, as keen an eye and draft and develop as anybody in all of baseball. This is what you do. And oh, by the way, you just drafted maybe Harry Ford's replacement right out of college. You certainly fell into a lottery ticket that was Kade Anderson that nobody in the world believed could be a Seattle Mariner and shouldn't have been, frankly, based on your win-loss record. But because of the lottery system and the ping pong ball falling your way, you end up getting him. So I think I still land on that. If it is painful, if cutting that check is hard, this is what you saved up for. You've got equity in the bank. You've built your business so you can make this kind of decision and transaction.
So in Jeff Passan's trade deadline piece that he talked about with us, he did drop it this morning. He mentioned as the best fit for the Mariners, not Suarez, but Josh Naylor. So when it comes down to it, if you have to prioritize, if the Diamondbacks are going to take advantage of all this leverage they have because there are so many teams, we just read off the five that are all in, and then there are more behind them. The Rays are looming. The Rangers now are just a game and a half back of a playoff spot. Who knows what the Red Sox will do? The National League, it's its own thing that we don't even really focus on day in, day out. There are so many teams that could use positional upgrades. So if the Diamondbacks maximize this leverage, split those two up, and it's just Josh Naylor, would you be happy with that if it's those two prospects that you mentioned?
I think so. I mean, that starts to feel a little bit rich. 2 top 10 prospects. Remember, not a top 10 prospect did not get moved all of last year at the trade deadline, correct?
So it's probably one top 10 and one guy, maybe a little bit lower in the system. But
That's
if it's two, if it's not just one for one, it's hard to see a team, especially a team that would want something back in return because the Diamondbacks are close. They're not completely rebuilding. If it's one top 10 prospect and one guy a little bit lower down.
Right.
Is that something you do?
Yeah, I think so. And I think Jeff goes there, and he hinted at this yesterday, and it's just common sense that third base market is so much more competitive. Those Cubs need a third baseman. Those Yankees need a third baseman, right? The third baseman this year almost feels like in past trade deadlines, the ace, the frontline starter, the Luis Castillo that the Mariners traded for in 22. It almost feels like that position has become the biggest need for these contenders in baseball, and thus probably going to ratchet up that price for a Gino Suarez, whereas there's not as many needs at first base for these contenders as you have. You have that need. And Luke Raley's done a phenomenal job growing his first base instincts and his defensive play, and he's athletic over there. But you even see last night, like on that play, it didn't end up biting him in the later innings, but he's still not been a lifetime first baseman. And Naylor's not a great mover and he's not a great athlete, but he's got good hands and he can play that position competently and capably. And he's certainly in a lineup, adds some length behind Cal Raleigh and Randy and Julio that starts to be a little more intimidating for those foes down the stretch.
To get back to the no's, because now we're seeing them come in on the text line. You got a lot of responses and people explaining why it would be a no. The people that say yes, they don't have to really explain because they agree, so they move on. But the no's we're seeing that come in on the text line or on your Twitter poll, it's well, that's too much to give up. That's too much to give up for one of these players. It's just a 2-month rental. Gets back to what we're kind of talking about. Well, what's the waiting for? Where is this perfect scenario that you're trying to build off to in this unknown time in the future where everything's magically just going to be perfect? Because if you're not going to do it at this point, where Cal Raleigh continues to prove Passan's point that he's having the historic season, 39 home runs, is he going to lead baseball in home runs again? Maybe, but probably not going to hit 38 in the first part before the All-Star break. And with the health of the pitchers, we've seen how fickle it can be. This year should be the wake-up call to show you that you can't say, well, we have this pitching staff, and every single year we're going to have them. You had George Kirby out for the start of the season. You had Logan Gilbert undergo an injury. He has never had an injury in his career. In his pro career, he's never been injured until this year. So how do you know that next year every single starter in this rotation is going to be fine and every single position player is going to be okay? Things happen. Arms are a ticking time bomb in baseball. This is the chance, with the Astros completely banged up, with the Mariners right now firmly in a playoff spot. They're the second wild card. There is no timeline in the future that is this perfect, well, we don't want to give up prospects because in 2028, it's all going to happen and you're going to win, wipe your hands, and it's good to go.
Right. And then even, staring out into that playoff run. And you're right, we spend the majority of our time, rightfully so, talking about the American League. But even, looking out at a possible championship, which is what this is all about, a possible World Series experience and opportunity, which is what this should be all about. There is not that team. I know the Dodgers are loaded. I know their payroll. You know the names. You know the star power. But, they're not what they have been in even the previous years, and certainly not in this regular season anywhere dominant. In some of these years past, Mike, around this time, you look at it and go, golly, you're just not Philadelphia. You're not Atlanta. You're not the Dodgers. You're not the Yankees. You're not the Red Sox. You're not these teams around you that just have much more talent and much longer in their lineup and much better than you. You don't feel that way this year. You're 100-some games into it. And frankly, this Milwaukee team may be the best team my eyes have seen all year, not just based on their record, the way they pitch it, some of the threats within that lineup, the way they play. Like, these guys are really good, really, really good. And yet you've got a chance to take the series from them, just like you did the Cubs, just like you've done sweeping away the Tigers. So, yeah, I think just the market, the landscape, the league is telling you this is time to go for it as well.
And, Brock, I think we also have to kind of not push back, but maybe explain that these things don't happen in a vacuum. That if it feels steep, it's because there are other teams out there that are going to offer that, or that the Diamondbacks are going to go ask for. So maybe you can, in a negotiation, get that price down a little bit. But I've seen a couple of responses saying, well, Logan Evans and 2 prospects are too steep for Naylor and for Suarez, or for a first and third baseman. And it might be the case. Yep. But if you're not just competing with yourself against the Diamondbacks, if you're saying, well, out of these 8 other teams that are offering something, what's the offer that's going to get the deal done? That's what it might come down to. And I'm not saying that that's what you have to do, but when it gets down to it, if it's this or that, the Yankees are offering this, hey, Mariners, what can you give us? Oh, you have more prospects that you can offer, and that's what gets the deal done. That's why right here the Mariners have the advantage. We know that in the offseason, when it comes to pure spending, the Yankees can just go do whatever they want. The Mets can go do whatever they want. Right here, the Mariners have leveled the playing field, and they have the advantage, and they can swing the prospects to get a trade done.
Well, this is the T part of it. I mean, this is going back to the essence of who you are and the identity of your organization. You are a draft, check the box. You are a develop, check the box. And you are a trade, draft, develop, and trade. And this leg of that identity has got to be as forceful as the previous 2. It's got to be as impactful in meaning and magnitude as the first 2, right? You do those 2 things so you can put yourself in this position, and never, never has your system been this rich, this deep, and this able during this market to be able to go to the market and say, we can pretty much do any deal we want to get done.
Brock, we're going to get back to this and really kind of dig in more to the trade deadline a little bit later in the show. Jarran Reed's about to join us in a few seconds. Nice. Seahawks training camp gets started today. They're back on the field. But, yeah, I think it's also coming off the heels of a very impressive win. It shows you the capability of when Logan Gilbert is on and when Cal Raleigh can continue to find that home run magic, what you're capable of, but also what you need, because ultimately it was a 1-0 win. 4 hits, that's all you got. You didn't have any offense behind Cal Raleigh, coming off a game where you were shut out. So it shows the need for that offense, but it also kind of flips the potential of what you could do when you get these guys in, these parts to get the job done. So we'll see. There is a lot to deal with. We will swing to Seahawks training camp here in a second. Day 1. The sun is out. I can't imagine a better place to be.
Sun's out, guns out.
Than a Seahawks training camp when the sun's out, glistening off the water at the VMAC. You're out there. I'm not going to play the Boys of Fall again.
Paint that picture, Left. Go
paint it. Yeah, I want to hear. I kind of want to hear your monologue. I want to go back and find that opening monologue.
I don't know if I want to do that, but it was a pretty good year. If you remember, 2013. That was a pretty good season. It was about 3 years before Jarran Reed got there, but that was a pretty good run all the way to a championship.
Yeah. Well, he's been there for a while. That's what I'm going to ask him about that. I mean, Jarran Reed, one of the veterans on this team. Can you imagine that, a decade-long NFL career? That's impressive. A decade in the NFL. What was your career?
I was 6.
Yeah. That's really impressive. That's impressive as well.
Kind of fooled them. Fooled them for 6. And at the end, they finally caught up and come on, buddy. Let's move this thing along. Let's get you out of this league. But to do it for 10 is quite a big deal, man. Especially right in the middle of that line of scrimmage. And we can talk about less two-a-days and less pads and less contact and less. Not for those big gents, man. Not for 17 games. For now going into 10 years. They take a beating, and the only way you sustain and do this is to be a pro, and Jarran Reed is an absolute pro.
Yeah, and that Seahawks defensive line. I mean, that's an impressive part of this group when you have Leonard Williams in there. And boy, Mafe, we've talked about what his potential is. You add in DeMarcus Lawrence and then Jarran Reed just anchoring the middle of that. It was great to see how that defense evolved when they brought him back for the second time and what they're going to build behind that. And we've talked about how everything goes in those tiers. So everything building from that defensive line and then the linebacking core and all of that to the secondary. But why not just ask him about all this instead of us talking about it, Brock? Seahawks defensive tackle Jarran Reed joins us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Jarran, we were just talking about year 10. It's going to be a decade in the NFL for you. How does that feel?
I definitely feel it. But it's a great thing, though, man. It's a blessing, just to make year 10. I think that's a milestone for anybody who steps foot on this field. And I'm just truly blessed and appreciate that I can be one of the ones who's making it this far.
How have you done it?
Preparation, performance, body work, staying on top of that, mentally staying strong, and, just having faith, believing, and trusting the process, trusting my preparation, the coaches, being coachable, helping the young guys. It's a list of things I think the reason why.
Jarran, how have you learned to kind of, as Brock was getting at, kind of take care of your body as it's evolved? I'm sure you come into the league as a rookie and everything feels fine. You're young and you can bounce back. And now, after years and years of this, has your preventative care evolved, the things you do to kind of get yourself ready to be on the field every day?
Absolutely, man. I spend a lot of time on my body, and I always say this almost every interview. I was like a sponge. I used to sit here and watch, Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett, Tava Rubin, guys like that take care of their body and be able to go out there and perform and practice every day and in every game. I kind of took those things, and now I've implemented some of my own things, and I spend a lot of time on it, man. It's a lot of time oiling this car up to get ready to go.
It's interesting, Jarran. We spend a lot of time talking about you guys, watching you guys, reacting, all the games, practices, storylines, all of that. But I feel like I don't know somebody there very well, and that is your defensive coordinator. And obviously Mike's the head coach. He calls the defense. That's part of it. But, you got to know Ken Norton and Gus Bradley and all the Dan Quinn, all the D coordinators through the years. Clint Hurd. I don't feel like I know Dirty very much. Can you tell me who he is and what he brings to that defensive side of the ball?
Oh, man. First of all, he's a great guy. He loves the game of football, but he's a great person outside of football. You could easily relate to him. What he demands from us each and every day I think is amazing. I think is what every defensive coordinator should do. I don't think he looks for the limelight. I don't think he's that type of guy. I don't think he really cares to be known, but man, he's a cool guy. He's funny. He's definitely a player's coach. Fiery. He gives us that mindset that how we take the field and how we approach game and approach practice and approach drills. He gives that to us, and what he expects from us. He doesn't shy from anybody. Nobody's bigger than the program, and he lets us know that.
Jarran, we were talking about your long career in the NFL. This is year 10 for you. Another guy that has been there for a while, been doing it at a high level for a long time, DeMarcus Lawrence, now in his first offseason here, going into his first season with you guys. What have you learned from him? Have you gotten a chance to kind of get to know him, or have you just kind of watched him out there when he's been with you guys through OTAs and minicamp?
Yeah, D-Law's my guy, man. Yeah. I'm a North Carolina guy. He's a South Carolina guy, so we kind of got that South connection right there. And, what you see with him is what you get. He doesn't hold his tongue. I like that. He reminds me of the old school, football. Like when I came in and before me, that's the way his style of play. And I think that's great because we needed more than around here. He's a great addition, man, great guy.
Yeah, that's a couple of the moments last year that maybe I remember as much as anything, Jarran, is your willingness to have that voice. Right, I think it was in a game, and I think it was a youngster and Derek Hall that you guys had a pretty good conversation there on the field and on the sidelines a little bit.
Yeah.
But isn't that in some ways the picture of the brotherhood you all are trying to create and cultivate?
Yes, absolutely. We're trying to build a championship defense around here, and it's the things that little things that matter, and we're all just holding each other accountable. That's all that is, man. And, we're just trying to be the best we can be on the field and off the field.
Well, Jarran, getting a little more into that, you just mentioned all those guys that you learned from when you were coming into the league and how you soaked it all up like a sponge. Now that you're the veteran, what do you think the young guys have learned from you, or what do they come to you with questions?
A lot of their questions is like technique, and believe it or not, they ask me how do I play so long. That's crazy. And, just things that I did to stay in the league and to stay relevant and everything. The most I tell them is, when you step into the building, this is your job. You got to become a professional. We're all athletes, but now we're professional athletes, right? When you get to the NFL, and it's all about being professional on the field and off the field. That's how you talk, how you carry yourself to people, how you treat people around the building, your work ethic. Things like taking care of your body, because we pay attention to those things. Nowadays kids, they got their phones, the TikTok and all the Instagram and this stuff, and so if we're in the locker room and we get time to ourselves, sometimes they instantly go bury their face in the phones. Like, nah, that's time to prepare yourself to get ready to go out there and practice and have the best practice you can. Little things like that, and then taking the things that the coaches are telling them and being coachable, without having the coach repeat the same things over and over, like each day in meeting rooms.
From your life experience and being here the first time around, where you went from year one to year two in this system, what are some things we can watch for? All those fans that are on the berm today, come out and watch, and yeah, man, it's going to be year two in Mike McDonald's system and going from year one to year two. What are some areas that are true areas of growth from your experience?
I think the communication along the defense, and we still got a lot more room to go. But I think it's everybody kind of knows the playbook, and because it's a huge playbook. I think as far as defensively, because that's all I can speak on. Just our intent, our effort, and our communication. Like if you guys out there to practice, just listen to us. You'll hear like a lot of communication, a lot of talking going on amongst everybody. And of course the music will be on, but when it's probably down and we're in the period, you'll probably hear it, and that's probably the main thing.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Great defenses you don't see, great defenses you hear. Yeah. And not only the communication, but I'm going to guess, too, when the pads start to come on, the game changes just a little?
Oh, yeah, a lot. You get to add that real physical aspect to the game.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, Jarran, I'm sure you're excited to get on the field. We're all excited to watch you guys out there and then see what this team looks like this season. So thanks for joining us this morning. We really appreciate you taking the time.
All right, thank you.
That is Seahawks defensive tackle Jarran Reed. We're going to dive more into your expectations, Brock, your what to watch for out there at training camp. It begins later this afternoon. Come back to a little bit more Mariners because there was one sign of the future that arrived at T-Mobile Park yesterday. Get into that up next here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's one of the most pivotal stretches for the Mariners this season, with just 8 days till the trade deadline.
Mariners plan for the trade deadline.
Obviously, the biggest question, our buddy Jeff Passan, who are the best bats available? It's Gino and it's Naylor.
It would make this team right there with every other team that has World Series aspirations.
Stay plugged in as the Mariners approach the trade deadline on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Michael is in his 70s, and he was dealing with an injury.
I had tears in my rotator cuff. just the discomfort of going about everyday life. Day-to-day things were not comfortable or almost impossible, but just being inactive was troubling.
He was in a great deal of pain.
I started trying to learn how to brush my teeth with my left hand, and you can't do it. It was ridiculous.
Searching for answers, Michael found Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, where he underwent stem cell therapy.
You know, I play basketball Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and so I'm getting my shot back. It's not back to where it was, but hey, before I couldn't even do anything. So 100% improvement of what it was.
Wow, that's great to hear. Would you recommend stem cell therapy to others?
I can share without a doubt that it helped me, and I'm grateful for that.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed all in. Plus get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Is your car road trip ready? Don't get stranded. Get to Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Bucky's has been preparing cars, trucks, and SUVs for safe, worry-free travel for over 50 years. We take care of your car with experience and good old-fashioned customer service. For all your oil changes, brakes, AC charging, and factory maintenance, choose Bucky's. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit Bucky's.com. Bucky's, where your car feels right at home.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card, allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to see you on the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! We just caught up with Jarran Reed. Really exciting to get that feel that Seahawks football is back. It's a simultaneously very short and very long portion where the NFL isn't here, Brock, because it's become a year-long entity. But I'll tell you what, that time over these last 6 weeks where nothing's happening football-wise, that drags. You can really feel it when minicamp ends until right now the start of training camp comes along.
Yeah, imagine if you're in a market like South Chicago, Denver, where you have no baseball either. Anaheim, like where there's not a relevant team, a contending team, a team of great dudes, a team with stars that Cal Raleigh has become. Like, imagine being in one of these markets without baseball during that 6-week stretch. It is dire.
And they actually have baseball. I know you're joking, but you could be in a city that literally doesn't have a baseball team.
That
and then
too.
There's nothing to talk about.
That too. And it's almost worse if you are in a city and your baseball team is just totally irrelevant and they don't, right? I mean, it's just, then it's like, oh my gosh, I can't bring myself to talking about them. And fortunately for us, we got the Mariners. And as we said to kind of open the show, man, this little 2-week stretch with the home run derby, with the All-Star game, with the draft, with, sweeps of Detroit and series wins, like, man, the mojo and the momentum is really never been better than over the last couple weeks, I think, for this team.
And it really added to it yesterday because I think it became real. It officially became real that Kade Anderson was there. He was in the building. He signed his contract. I almost interrupted the proceedings. They did it upstairs in the front office's suite area that they have, and I kind of walked through unintentionally, not knowing what was happening, and then realized, oh, that's why everyone's here. And then you saw Kade Anderson down there. His whole family was there. Scott Boras was there. That's how I discovered that Scott Boras is his agent. That was quite a realization. But Scott Boras was there. But yes, to see Kade Anderson, to hear him, and then to realize that this is the future, but also a part of the present because he's big league ready. And from what we've heard from Scott Hunter and from Justin Hollander, from Jerry DiPoto, 2026, maybe it's the back half of it. Maybe it is the start of 2027 because he's going to be shut down and not pitch this year, the rest of the season. But Kade Anderson is ready, and he could be threatening to crack the Mariners' rotation at some point in 2026.
Yeah, it's not often that, and I think the Gray Zabel was a situation, actually the last couple drafts, to just compare drafts, the NFL to baseball. The last couple, I think you can confidently say that the Seahawks got who they really wanted. The previous year with Byron Murphy, almost every defensive player that was on there, every one of them that was on their board, because Latu was not medically cleared for them. They were not going to draft him. So they got exactly who they wanted. This last season, they didn't mess around, and Gray Zabel was there, and they got who they wanted. I don't think there is any question whatsoever that the Mariners, and you could feel it from Jerry DiPoto yesterday. You can read his quotes. You could feel it in the draft room when that happened. When the Angels took who the Angels took, you could see the faces of like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. We are absolutely going to get the number one guy on our board. We're going to get him at number 3, and he's going to be a Seattle Mariner signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, the day after they drafted him, we had Jay Johnson, his coach at LSU, on our show, and he broke down what makes Kade Anderson such an intriguing and tantalizing player for this Mariners team.
This is what makes him special. He's always looking for the next thing, and he killed it last summer in the weight room, adding strength, adding durability, and then the development of the slider this year with Nate Yeske, our pitching coach, and Jamie Tutko, our director of pitching development, really took the arsenal to a whole new level. I mean, the speed differentiation, you just can't sit on the side of the plate. You can't sit on a speed. Does an unbelievable job of getting hitters in between.
And you know what else you realize, and yesterday brings it to the forefront, as he does the tour of Seattle, right? He goes and catches fish at the Pike Place Market, and he does all of this stuff. And because I've traveled the country so much the last 20 years, and, I've kind of gained this perspective, for him going from where he's come from in Louisiana to Seattle, Washington, is not too much different than if he had landed in Madrid, Spain. Right? I mean, it's like a foreign country. He even said it like, I didn't really know where it was. And it's not a reach. I mean, he's still, he's an unbelievably accomplished now national champion and an absolute bulldog and had an incredible year down there in Louisiana. But he's not a well-traveled, like, I've seen the world, I've seen the country, don't even know where Seattle is.
People are giving him grief for that, and I hated it because I think he was exaggerating a little bit. But also, he's a kid. Who cares if he didn't know exactly what coordinates Seattle had on the map there? He knows the region, but if he didn't know the exact location,
people
why do you
are not
care?
upset.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yes, Lyle
What?
can verify.
How could people be upset about that?
They were furious.
Because people online are crazy. We just tweeted out the Kade quotes and the videos saying like, I didn't really know where Seattle was all that well on the map before this.
Just offhand.
Don't read those.
It's an offhand comment.
I was going to say, don't read those comments. Jeez.
Oh, my goodness. Come on. That's
you want a trash take? Okay, well, I don't want to spoil it because maybe that's someone's. But I know we're doing that at 9:45, so if anyone needs an idea. But he's a kid, and that's what's exciting. That he's this big league ready. He just turned 21 a couple weeks ago. Just turned 21, and the fact they're already talking like they have plans for him in the rotation mid next year, certainly moving forward after that, that's really exciting.
Well, and I'll tell you what else he is, and you said this earlier when we were talking about the difference of this deadline and this week versus the offseason. And in the offseason, when you are a draft, develop, and trade, and you're not a big spend and go in the deep pool and spend, you don't really have relationship with Scott Boras. You've not done that dance with him. But when you draft, guess what? You can draft a Scott Boras guy. And they've done it, and they've drafted a few of them. You're not maybe going to sign his guys, but he's going to be hanging with Jerry on the field before the game because you can draft them, just as you can, acquire via trade. And acquire, over the next week, a Scott Boras client via trade that you're not going to likely get during the offseason, trying to get a deal done with him with a free agent.
Well, coming up, there's a lot you need to know about Seahawks training camp, and our coverage of Seahawks training camp is brought to you by The Landing in Renton. We'll break down everything you need to know about day one, practice number one for the Seahawks, beginning later this afternoon. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
IRG Physical and Hand Therapy doesn't just treat injuries, they elevate athletes. From weekend warriors to elite competitors, IRG Sports Institute clinics are built for performance, blending top-tier physical therapy with advanced sports science and personalized training plans. Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Why? Why elevate athletes as well?
Because here at IRG, Brock, our motto is we want you to be your best self, your best physical self, your best mental self, and your best community self. At our new IRG Fremont Sports Institute, we're providing that type of care. We've got the latest equipment, the greatest techniques, the providers there that are excited to get you better, basically bigger, faster, stronger. Doesn't matter if you're a weekend warrior, a recreational athlete, an elite athlete, we will make you to be your best.
You'll work with specialists who understand the grind because they've been there. With access to cutting-edge equipment and recovery techniques, you won't just heal, you'll come back stronger. Visit irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with 0 investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Practice number 1 begins later this afternoon. It's today. It's here for the Seahawks and a majority of teams around the NFL. So you have all your players back in camp for the most part. But Brock, that also includes Micah Parsons. We heard the comments from Jerry Jones yesterday about his star defensive end. Well, Parsons is there. He's in camp, but he was asked whether he's spoken to Jerry Jones yet.
No, but I'm gonna talk to him. You know, I just thought as a whole, like, you know, everyone's situation is different. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, I'm here for my teammates. You know, I'm not here to please another grown man. I'm here for them. You know, I want to be here with Trey, watch him rehab, watch him get on the field, watch his growth. I want to be here battling with Terrence Steele. Like, I'm here for these guys. I'm not here for him.
I think that's fair, right?
Well, so, I mean, it's very. He seems more of the adult than Jerry Jones. He seems like the bigger man in the situation instead of the crazy owner that we've talked about. And he's there. He's supporting his teammates.
He is, because I think ultimately Jerry is kind of crazy. And I said this, and not to like have the back of Jerry Jones because he runs his mouth and says some ludicrous things. Those guys know that he does ultimately pay. He's paid those guys pretty handsomely through the years. They have as good of facilities as there are in all the NFL. He does take care of his. And just kind of getting to the dotted line and getting the name signed, there certainly is some business and some leverage and negotiation within all of it.
Some more NFL news, Brock. Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin is holding out, so he's not there. Joins Trey Hendrickson as another high-profile holdout. Not good for a Commanders team that has some high expectations after a trip to the NFC title game last season. And then the Raiders, they signed Jamal Adams yesterday.
Yeah, one of, I think, 3 or 4 former Seahawks is Pete's, doing what Pete does. And I'll get to that in Blue 88 here, which is going to be a little bit later because Jarran was on with us last hour. But, yeah, the nice thing, no holdouts here, no real drama here, is we talked about yesterday. The only thing to kind of watch, we'll see if there's any news on physicals and conditioning tests and anything like that that usually comes about right before they take the field at 1 o'clock today.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Mariners have a chance for a series win. That happens in a few hours. 12:40 first pitch. 11:30 pregame begins right here on Seattle Sports. And the reason they're in this position, Logan Gilbert, who was spectacular last night. 6 1/3 innings, retired the first 12 he faced, struck out 10, didn't walk anyone, didn't allow a run, just 2 hits. Gilbert broke down what was working well for him in his outing.
Yeah, we're getting ahead pretty good after the first or second. Felt like I was just keeping the ball low. That helped out. Fastball come in, slider down, splitter when we were ahead, and Cal had a good mix back there. Pretty good game plan, so felt like it worked.
Yeah, and I'd say old Cal's framing really came to light last night as well. I know you want to play the home run call, and it was number 39, and it was nice to see him get his first after the All-Star break. But watching him do his thing with both Logan, 10 strikeouts, no walks, and then in particular with Mooney in that 9th inning. I don't know, Lyle, I don't know where that website is that has the umpire grades, but it felt like maybe a few more went the Mariners' way thanks to Mr. Raleigh and his magic behind the plate, because that old Milwaukee skipper was not too happy about some of those borderline calls that seemingly went all the Mariners' way last night, and just a terrific win. I mean, that felt like playoff baseball. You said you want a 7-game World Series. I want a 4-game sweep. You want a 7-gamer. Well, that felt like a World Series playoff contending kind of just performance with just elite pitching in every pitch, every at bat, every inning. Such a big deal as that drama built last night.
I like that there are multiple ones, right? There's like umpire auditor, ump scorecards. I just saw another one pop up. An Angry Brewers fan had retweeted it into my timeline. So there are at least 3 to 4 accounts that solely judge umpires, which we need more accountability. I think give a little more public accountability. I've always said, before we get on to the next one, Brian, I've always said that umpires need public accountability in the terms of having to do a press conference. Because if a player or a manager has to go up and answer questions about something that might not have been their fault, or they have to ask, well, why did you do that? What happened in this situation when you guys didn't score in that inning? And they have to dance around blaming the umps or publicly criticizing them. Have an umpire and not just a pool reporter who goes in there and they can say whatever they want because no one else is asking them publicly about it. Have an umpire go up there and say, yep, I missed that call. That's my bad. At least admit it. And I think that would ease some of the frustration, because now you see these guys that seem above reproach. They just do whatever, right? And they walk off. You can't argue with them. Some are so sensitive they eject you by just looking. Give me some accountability for these bad calls. Or the ABS. And then fully bring in robo-umps eventually. We'll see what happens, but that's all I'm asking for. That too much to ask?
Good luck.
Okay, I know. That umpire union's strong.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Yeah, speaking of baseball, the division stays at 5 games back for the Mariners. Astros hold on for a 3-1 win over the Diamondbacks. Arizona loaded the bases with no outs in the 9th. Could not score. Wild card did get an improvement for the Mariners. Red Sox lost 4-1. Came in the hands of a complete game, 12 strikeout, no walk performance from Phillies starter Christopher Sanchez. So the Mariners are in the second wild card spot, and the Rays are just a half game back. And the Rangers, Brock, the Rangers are just a game and a half back of that third wild card spot. That's a big series, 4-game series here in Seattle that starts next Thursday.
Yeah, and that Rangers club of all of them feel kind of the most dangerous to me because they're equipped a little bit like your Mariners.
Yeah.
I mean, they can roll DeGrom out. If you looked at Evaldi's numbers this year, they're unbelievable as well. Like, they've got some pitching depth, and we know their ownership and their crew is aggressive. And, kind of heard their name mentioned in this trade deadline. If they're able to add a bat or two with what they can do and how they can spin it and how they can throw it, I'd keep my eye on those Texas Rangers as well.
425 text just came in and said that burger chain's going to give the ump free food for life. Did we tell you that story? Did we tell you? Well, it might have been before you popped on that the burger chain George Webb in Milwaukee, they have a long-standing promotion that if the Brewers baseball team wins 12 games in a row, they hand out free burgers. And they did it before. They did it in 2018 and in 1987. And they estimated they were going to give out 100,000 free burgers.
Wow.
Had the Brewers won last night.
Wow.
So Cal Raleigh, saving small businesses everywhere. And that umpire, perhaps. That is everything you need to know. Oh, sorry. One more thing you need to know. Kraken signed forward Capo Caco to a 3-year contract extension. He had 10 goals and 20 assists in the 49 games that he played for the Kraken after they traded for him in mid-December. So some off-season hockey
I think
moves.
the Salk family and household, and Michael will be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think he'll be the most thrilled about that because he loves saying his name, I think, as much as any name
It's a fun
of
name.
any athlete in Seattle sports history.
By the way, the Kraken TV crew was
Yes.
ranked the second best. The Athletic did their hockey broadcast crew rankings. And so John Forsland, who I know has been a guest on this show a good amount, he is a big reason why that is one of the best hockey announcing crews in the sport. So they're ranked number 2. And yeah, maybe you can have John Forsland on and just say Capo Caco a lot of times. That's when Salk's back. He's back tomorrow.
Apo Taco.
You guys
Apo
can have
Taco.
that. And you'll say Apo Taco. And we'll also get some more of your thoughts, Brock, on what you want to see out there. What are you watching for, right? What you're watching for at Seahawks training camp. I'm in the dark, too. I don't even know what you're going to watch for.
And this
So
is
we'll
for
all learn together.
And I know a lot of you are going to get that chance today. Today's a public day, right? It's open to the public there, day 1 of training camp. So I got 4 things. I'll let you in the light just a little bit. I got 4 different things, if you're up on that berm, that you really got to keep your eyes on today or any of these practices over the month as the Seahawks and training camp get going right down there in Renton. 4 different things for you to keep your eyes on, to watch of these Seattle Seahawks that will play a pivotal role here in the 2025 season.
All
That
right. Yeah.
is coming your way next.
You're sending it to break. All right. Up next.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston. So that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
That's right. No one likes them. No one knows where they come from, but we can all agree no one wants them in their house. Mike Salk here for Crawl Pros, and they have a full-service pest control division now called Pest Pros. They can come to your house and do a full corner-to-corner inspection, take care of any problems, just like they did at my home. This is the time of the year you'll start seeing more ants in and around your home. You may also begin hearing a little buzzing outdoors. Bees, wasps, hornets, if they make a nest on your property, that is a huge nuisance. So please don't try to take care of those nests on your own. Simply call Pest Pros to have any nest removed and destroyed professionally before the problem grows or you and your guest ends up getting stung. Pest Pros is the full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros with eco-friendly treatments to keep ants, stinging insects, and all sorts of critters from making their way into your home. If you're worried about rodents, ants, or other bugs or an issue in and around your home, call Pest Pros or visit gopestpros.com to schedule a free inspection at gopestpros.com.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword micro to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say micro to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Hey golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
Upgrade your view and comfort with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Buy one window or door, get the second at 50% off through July, and enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. For details, visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Seattle Sports is giving you a shot at 4 tickets to see the Seahawks host the Raiders August 7th. Just open the Seattle Sports app, tap the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. Enter daily from July 23rd through 28th. Full details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Want to cut your home energy bills, breathe cleaner air, and improve comfort? The answer, AeroSeal from Home Comfort Alliance. This advanced process seals leaks in your ductwork, improving efficiency and air quality. Normally $2,500. Right now, for PSC customers, get AeroSeal for as little as $99 when they install a furnace or heat pump. Plus, save up to 25% on remaining 2024 heat pumps and air conditioners from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
So why don't you speed? I've had one too many close calls on the road, and then I learned the facts.
It's dangerous to drive too fast.
It's true. 1 in 3 fatal crashes involve speeding.
Most people try to be safe, but speeding is dangerous.
You know, the faster you go, the longer it takes to stop.
The faster you drive, the harder you'd hit someone. Slower speeds save lives.
Please drive the speed limit so everyone is safe. Learn more at togetherwegetthere.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studios, you are listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Love wearing my game day jersey on a Friday.
There's just tears coming to your eyes right now. I thought you were going to sit there, soaking it all in. Something, shoulder pads, and the fresh cut grass. Football. Actually, it's a good montage. I like the montage.
Yes.
Leave it or...
You know what I'm going to do
I
after
can leave
this
the
segment?
song,
I can't multitask, and I've got things to watch, 4 things, and then we got Blue 88. But at exactly 8:55, I'm going to search YouTube, and I am going to retweet that sucker. And if you're a football fan on the start of training camp and you love ball like we love ball, and you don't get a little misty, and you're not into your feelings just a little bit, I challenge you.
That's not fair.
I'm
Why,
an extreme
Maura?
football fan, but I hate country music.
Wow, just called out. You're calling out the ball knower. So
and you know if Salk was here, he'd be saying the same thing.
Brock, you just said that you can't like football unless you like that song from Kenny Chesney.
I didn't say you can't like it. I think I said
you can't
love
know it. Wow.
You can't feel it. You
All right.
can't
Well,
know it.
I'm sorry we're interrupting you from going to watch that. Maura and I can just take this segment then if you want to just watch that video over and over. Click play, repeat. You can watch about 5 times here in these next 20 minutes.
I'm just going to be pretty teary-eyed at the top of the hour. I can tell you that.
All right. Well,
okay,
yes.
I'll give you something else to watch. While I'm watching that, here's Lefko. You're going to be working the pregame Mariners show. And remember, early matinee game today as the Mariners look to win yet another series and do so against the Brewers. And then are you going to zip down to the VMAC? Or
that's out of my control. I'm at the mercy of traffic and parking and
I don't think anybody's
traffic
gonna be zipping. Yes.
in the roads. We'll see if they're passable.
Yeah, and by the way, if you PSA, if you are going to training camp today, if you're one of the lucky ones, give yourself a lot of time because it's going to take a little while. There is so much construction going on all over the place, and especially around that facility. So give yourself a little time.
Is that number one? What to watch at training camp?
PSA. No, here's
traffic cones.
Here is 4 things to watch, and the obvious and all eyes are going to be, as they always are, on 32 different NFL quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks. His camps are all underway. Everybody watches the quarterback. But in particular, there's 2 things, I think, for Sam Darnold to watch. Number one, and I've heard this from a bunch of folks down there, number one is just the interaction in that room, the interaction on the field. You heard Jarran Reed last hour talk about the brotherhood, heard about the conversations they have. Put your phone down, talk to your teammate, be with your teammate. I said after the draft, I felt like this was one of the coolest, I used a John Schneider word, one of the coolest quarterback rooms in the league. And I'll stand by that. And everything that I've heard over the last couple months is they've actually gotten to know each other, as they're pushing each other, as they're working, that you could not find a better guy for Sam Darnold than Drew Lock. And then you add in Jalen Milroe, who is a terrific young guy that's a sponge wanting to learn everything, that's got a high work capacity. So just kind of as you're down there, not only watch Sam and what he's doing, just watch the interactions. Because that is and I was a part of a really special QB room, Lefko. I mean, I had one that I would argue and could contend that was maybe from a talking standpoint and a relational standpoint is cool a group ever. I mean, it was Dilfer and it was Hasselbeck and it was me and it was Jim Zoran. And that was, I mean, it just didn't feel like work. You just couldn't wait to get to practice and get to meetings and hang out and spend time together. And they got a pretty good thing going. So when you're watching Sam today, don't just watch him throw it. Watch that interaction. Watch some of the relationships being forged there with the 3 of them. It is really cool. That's number 1. Number 2, watch the interchangeable defensive pieces. When we're out there, and I think we get to do a show a week from Thursday. They have a morning practice that day.
9:45, yeah?
Yep, so we're going to get a chance to do our show out there and hopefully talk to Coach McDonald. And I know where my eyes are going to be. How are they using all of this different personnel? Where is Eman Wari? Where is Witherspoon? Where is Kobe Bryant? Where is Julian Love? Just the way that they are putting those pieces together. And again, you heard Jarran Reed say to us last hour, year 1 to year 2, man, this is a deep playbook, and it is voluminous. I remember doing a Seattle Sea Dragons game for the vaunted XFL when it returned, and Jerry Glanville was coaching, I think it was a Tampa Bay team. And he was on the sidelines, and, when I get to do that work, Mike, I get so close. I'm literally standing right next to him. And he's the play caller defensively as well. And you know what he's calling? BTF. In his little walkie-talkie. BTF. BTF. Like every play, BTF. And finally I'm like, BTF. What is BTF? Well, you know what it is. Blitz the formation. Like every call was blitz the formation. Blitz the formation. That was it. Like whatever they line up in, we've got, I don't know, a dozen different blitzes for here's empty, here's 1 back, here's 2x2, here's 3x1. It was blitz a formation. I mean, it was about as easy as it gets, as simple as it gets. Man-to-man, blitz a formation. That is not Mike McDonald's playbook. That is not what they do in Seattle. It is deep. It forces a lot of communication. It forces a lot of intent, and you better know what you're doing. And you know what, man? Year 2, this should be so much more interchangeable with the different parts, making it really, really hard on an offense.
You know what's interesting? I was going to give you a breather. I know you want to keep rolling right into that number 3 and number 4. I think I did want to kind of get into a little bit more about Mike Macdonald's impact. And we can get into this a little bit at 9:30. But with Seth Walder, where he ranked the rosters, the one kind of grace that he gave us, because I asked him, all right, well, what about coaching? The impact that coaching could have, just not on a roster, but on a team. And here's how he broke that down.
To me, this exercise is trying to take coaching out of it. And so what I think is interesting sometimes is where we look at the differences between like this roster ranking and maybe how you would expect the team to be. I believe that McDonald does have the potential to be that sort of schematic advantage, right? It's like what on the offensive side of the ball Ben Johnson provided for Detroit, or what, say, Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay have provided for San Francisco and LA for a long time. I think that McDonald has the potential to be that for Seattle. He was that in Baltimore. I think we have to still see him elevate it, but I think that you have that potential, and not every team necessarily has a place to have a coach that can really elevate a unit. I do think McDonald's in the camp that can.
Oh, I think he is too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any debate. I did see, I think it was The Athletic in the weeks of list season that thankfully will go away now as training camp begins. I think they listed McDonald's somewhere around like 18 or 19 as far as coaching ranks in all the NFL, and I thought that too was pretty criminally low. Just like I think the 20th roster is criminally low, but that's for everyone to judge. And now the Pats get to go on, and we get to play here sooner than later, and kind of shut up all that list stuff. So that's number 1. I appreciate you throwing that in there. The QBs, the interactions. Number 2, the interchangeable pieces defensively. Number 3, and it's obvious, and it is why they were the 20th roster, and it's why everybody is down on the Seahawks nationally. It's because that offensive line still is a big, big question mark. But here's what I would ask of you. When you're out there watching these guys, watch them move. It should be like, man, it is the coolest thing. There's the best part of our high school football team out here, Mike, is the offensive line. Like, I think there is legitimately a kid, maybe 2, at our high school that could play in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey did. Luke McCaffrey did. Roger Rosengarten went to Valor Christian High School. Like, there have been a bunch of pros that have come out of the school, and we have a few of them, and they're both offensive linemen, and they're phenomenal players, and they move, and they bury people, and they get them running. And when you watch this system and you watch them go, what you are going to see, unlike last year where they were in retreat mode a lot, where it was a lot of pass and it was a lot of shotgun and it was a lot of throwing, you're going to see an under center. We're going to move people, and you just kind of want to see them choreographed. You want to see it, I call it a symphony of destruction. I think I said that on a broadcast last year. Yeah.
An ominous ring to it. I like that.
Yeah. And when they're working together and they're moving, and these guys can move. Abe, when healthy, can move. Cross can move. Zabel can move. Olu is gonna be fighting, to try to keep up with those guys. The right guard situation, maybe not quite as athletic, a little bit more, strength. But if Bradford's going to make this team, he better be leaner and meaner and moving, because the rest of them are. So just kind of watch that movement and watch that symphony work together. And then if those are kind of 3 positives, 3 fun ones, I will give you one that the more I've thought about this, and I had some deep tub time last night, Lefko, thinking about this. Why is everybody so down? If I'm going to be kind of critical of something and really have kind of a negative bent to it, what is it that I need to see this group be able to do? It's be able to strike some fear with their offense.
Okay.
It is the challenge. There have been some years, there have been some starts to training camp where I've sat at that picnic table and I've said, man, this is, and I've asked Pete about it and I asked John about it, like, this is the fastest team you've ever had. Right, man, you have put together some elite speed offensively, defensively, special teams. And for all the positives of, I think, movement up front, I think speed is a real question on the perimeter. Not a corner. Obviously, Woolen and Spoon can run like the wind, and but Griffin and Job don't run quite as well. One because of age and one stage, whatever. But speed offensively, who is going to threaten? Who is going to put fear in Woolen? Who's going to put fear in Spoon? Who's going to put fear in those safeties to stay over the top? This isn't training camp, but then obviously when you get to Vegas and the Chiefs and the practice sessions against Green Bay, to me, that is the one area that, because JSN is an awesome receiver, super strong, amazing body control, but he's not going to just blow by you. Cooper Kupp at this stage, heck, at any stage, he came out running 4.6, and that's why he was a third-round pick. He, too, has unbelievable feet, incredible agility, the highest football IQ you can have through his years of experience. But he doesn't have that run-by-you speed. That's certainly not Jake Bobo. That's not Derek Young. Is it Horton? When Horton was healthy, he can be a 4-4 guy. So he's somebody that I got an eye on, and obviously MVS is someone that can run. He's kind of DK light. But does he really do it with the pads on? Does he really strike that fear in their opponent? So that would be the one thing as we get into camp and into these games, and certainly over the course of the season, you've got to strike fear, right? You can't just be a Ben Williamson and put the ball in play and a punch and Judy and hit it the other way. You got to have some Cal Raleigh that puts some fear of God into that opponent. Like, I better be right. Otherwise, this thing can go right over my head and be difference makers.
We'll get to Blue 88 in just a second, but Brock, going back to that final point, for this offense and what we've heard and what we've seen Kubiak do in the past, is having a bona fide deep threat as important? Or can you get around that? Not having that. That's why you don't have DK Metcalf, right? Is this an offense that can now adjust and acclimate with someone like Elijah Arroyo instead of having that bona fide kind of mold of a deep threat receiver?
Is a home run hitter important?
Yeah.
It just is. So you can try to minimize it and say, no. We're going to play small ball, and we're going to, control the ball, and we're going to run the ball, and we're going to do all that. And that's all fine. And that's terrific. But we know that there are games. We know there are plays. We know there are moments, just like as we watch baseball on a nightly basis where you just know, man, that 3-run home run, that's a difference maker. And you're right. You're going to have to get it from different parts of your lineup to kind of continue this analogy going. You're going to have to get it from Ken Walker. Right? When he's running that outside zone and he's able to put his foot in the ground, that backside cutoff by Gray Zabel because he's one step faster than what you've been is actually going to influence the backside linebacker or the safety enough, and Ken's going to be able to break that arm tackle and take it 60. Arroyo can go, and when you get him one-on-one and he catches that deep over and he breaks a tackle, unlike Noah Fant, he's got to be able then to go get you 10, 15, 20, 25 yards after that catch. So you're going to have to get it, no question, from some other spots. And Ken Walker's got that capability. You hope Arroyo has that capability. But it's going to take the sum of all of those parts rather than just one DK Metcalf that can run right by you.
Well, our coverage of Seahawks training camp is brought to you by The Landing in Renton. And right now, let's just we'll keep these football questions going. It's time for Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Okay, a little bit later today because we had Jarran Reed join us at 7:45. Fairly great interview. You can check that out on the Brock and Salk podcast page on Seattle Sports if you missed that. But, Brock, we get into Blue 88, and I want to know who the Seahawks have the better shot at, Trey Hendrickson or Micah Parsons?
I think it is a 0.0001 shot for either of those men.
So what about the better shot, though?
The better shot of those two would be Trey. I think the better shot would be Trey because, the Bengals have played hardball in the past, and you've seen even a Carson Palmer retire and Andrew Whitworth find his way out of there. I think a Trey would be a better shot, but I don't think either of them is a legitimate shot. I know. I've seen the social media. I've certainly listened to my co-hosts talk about it for week after week, month after month, and I get it. I totally get it on paper. I totally understand the premise. Go be elite. Go get a difference maker. Go get a star. The challenge and the great challenge in this, and the more that I talk to folks down there, it is we are not going to do that to the detriment of our own. We firmly believe that Devin Witherspoon is going to be a force multiplier and help this defense be elite, and we want him here, and we will pay him and have to pay him. We firmly believe that Charles Cross is going to continue to ascend, and this is a system that should actually showcase him even more, and we are going to pay him. We firmly believe that JSN can be like Cooper Kupp was for the Rams in this system. He can take that kind of leap. He can be a 100-catch, 1,000-yard, 10-touchdown kind of guy, and we want to take care of him. So those are foundational pieces that you've got to keep a lot of cash in the kitty, and because of that, I don't think a Hendrickson or a Micah Parsons is anywhere a real possibility.
All right, number 2. Brock, which former Seahawk that Vegas signed has the best shot to make their team?
So it was Dorsett, it was Jamal Adams, and it was the other Q-tip, the old defensive tackle as well. I think actually Jamal. I think Jamal's got the best shot. You watched him play in Tennessee last year.
No, he barely played. I didn't watch him.
Wasn't he really, really good?
He was barely there. He same issues. Couldn't get on the field.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got into a game. He was there. Maybe he got into one, but it was just such an inconspicuous
and then he went
era.
to Detroit. I think he started. It ended up starting between Tennessee and Detroit 3 games last year overall. He posted a video about a week and a half ago of him training, and he did look pretty good training. You know, Jamal was hard for me in many ways. His personality was hard. He talked a lot. When adversity came, he ducked from that. I didn't love the way he handled the press. You know, I didn't love the way, frankly, he played either in space. And I think Pete Carroll knows those limitations. But I think also Pete Carroll in year 1 down in Vegas also knows this guy freaking loves football. And it kind of reminds me of an old Bill Parcells move and thought, and that was Parcells loved getting guys at the very end when they had nothing else. Nothing else. There were your back was so squarely against the wall because there was not going to be another opportunity. Everybody thought you were done. Your body is broken. You can't play anymore. You've lost a step. And he really, Bill really loved taking those plays. He didn't build a whole team with it, but he certainly injected that in the right spots at times. And that's where Jamal is. This is it. This is your very, very last shot. And the big if is, could he be healthy? Can he actually practice? And can he practice that day and then the next day and then the next day and then the next day and stack those days at this age and stage? That will be the critical question. If he can, he's got a shot at making that team.
Well, it's not just the Raiders, but the Titans are actually becoming the place for all the former Seahawks with Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams last year. Now Tyler Lockett and Draymond Jones. And I had forgotten that a potential starting linebacker on the Titans this year, one Cody Barton. He's resurfaced down there in Nashville. Puts a lot of intrigue on that Seahawks-Titans game later this year. But yeah, it's strange where former teams seem to kind of have guys land.
Well, and I think that's just relationship. They know folks in Tennessee. I know John does. After all these almost 2 decades, 3 decades in the league, coupled almost 2 decades here in Seattle, John's got a lot of former people in a lot of different places, including the president there in Tennessee.
Well, and what's funny, too, is you guys, those quarterbacks, seem to kind of migrate to Indy and then to Tennessee.
Yeah.
You and Matt, both Colts and then Titans for Hasselbeck. So it's strange how those connections kind of play out. But yeah.
I would have liked Nashville. Okay, question number
All right, number 3. Brock, what's the dilemma that college football coaches now face?
Do you have some sound for me on this one?
I do. Well, I hope it's the one that you think it is and not the coach that I don't actually like.
You don't like him?
Kurt Signetti, no.
Oh, that's right. You're a Purdue guy.
I don't know. No. He turned around that program. That's why I don't like him. But he's out there. Not a lot of people like him if you're not a fan of IU.
He's a little off his rocker. There's some great sound from him at Big Ten meetings. But no, this is Mike Locksley.
Yep, got that.
The head coach there at Maryland. And, he said it point blank. Like last year, they went 4-8. Last year, he did not handle the haves and the have-nots in his locker room well at all. Because guys got paid, guys don't get paid, and there was a lot of animus in that locker room. He's handled it a little differently. This is the dilemma that these now college coaches are facing, and listen to the veteran Mike Locksley just make it pretty black and white.
Because I had to decide whether to pay a freshman coming in or take care of a veteran player that helped me go to 3 bowl games and have success and do something that hadn't been done in 130 years in the history of Maryland football. And it was hard to do both. And so what I've decided now is if you come to Maryland and you look outside of our locker room, there's a sign. And that sign reads, you can leave your Louis belts, your car keys, and your financial statements outside of this locker room, because when you enter those doors, we'll all pay the same price for success or failure.
Oh, you loved that, didn't you?
That's pretty good.
That's going to be your new motto, huh?
I really did not like the first part. When
The
I hear
leaving the
people
Louis?
say 130 years of college football, going to 3 bowl games. Well, you know what, Mike? For like 100 years, there were 20 bowl games, not 60 bowl games, where everybody gets to a bowl game at 6-6. So, like, I didn't love that, but I really loved circling back to that last part. And, you know, he was with Saban down there at Bama. He was a coordinator for him. He's been around a lot of football for a lot of years, but that is a real dilemma, right? This isn't the NFL. This isn't contracts. This is just the Wild West. And, you know, guys making a lot of money, youngsters. If 20, and this was always my concern, if 22 and 23-year-olds struggled, and I watched the struggle, and then the struggle is real in handling that money, and not just for themselves, but for their family and everybody that wants a piece of it. Imagine now 16 and 17, and there's kids in high school just signing multi-million-dollar contracts before they ever play one down of college football. Yeah, that balance, that dilemma is certainly a big part of being a head college football coach today.
That is Blue 88. We're talking about Seahawks training camp because it begins today. Practice number 1 a little bit later this afternoon. And then preseason game number 1. It's going to be here before you know it. The Seahawks preseason home opener, August 7th. We want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the Seahawks take on the Raiders in person. We mentioned it, the Jamal Adams and Pete Carroll Raiders. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab, and you will find out how. If you don't already have the app, simply text app to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download. Enter daily to increase your chances to win. This contest runs through Monday, July 28th. 4 tickets to the preseason opener against the Raiders. It's going to be intriguing. Chiefs coming to town, that'll always be fun. And then very curious about the joint practice with the Packers. I know it's not as long as the ones they did last year against the Titans, but it sounds like this is the way that coaches want to go now, these joint practices. We can really get your ones versus ones and away from kind of public eyes.
Yeah, that would be cool because that's right at the end of camp as well, when maybe there's some real critical decisions and there are going to be some personnel battles that will go down to the wire. So I think just positive timing there. And oh, by the way, not only 4 tickets on that app, you can also go to the app and leave us a here's the thing. So I don't know if you ever tune in at 8 a.m. on Thursday mornings, Lefko, if you're off your paddleboard then or your workout or sleeping.
I already forgot. We hosted a Thursday show one time.
Wow,
okay.
Oh, did we really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So I guess you got to hear it then, but like every Thursday.
Yeah, every Thursday.
Must listen to.
Okay.
But Miss Mora needs some more downloads. So go to that app.
Yes.
Leave us a here's the thing. Salk, you'll be back tomorrow at 8, and we'll play some of those tomorrow as well as give you a chance to win 4 tickets to that season opener against the Raiders. Pretty darn cool.
And we got our trash takes coming up at 9:45. I'm excited. So I get to judge all these, right? That's a lot of power. So we'll see how I handle that. But up next, the Mariners trade deadline looms even larger after a few things that happened over these past couple of days. We will break that all down next. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's one of the most pivotal stretches for the Mariners this season, with just 8 days till the trade deadline.
Mariners plan for the trade deadline.
Obviously, the biggest question, our buddy Jeff Passan, who are the best bats available? It's Gino and it's Naylor.
It would make this team right there with every other team that has World Series aspirations.
Stay plugged in as the Mariners approach the trade deadline on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us.
We get notifications every time we get a review. And I said, how do you not let it eat you up? Sometimes I feel so responsible. And his answer was, I just look at it as an opportunity. We need that feedback to learn and to do better. I'm grateful for the feedback.
Big part of sales is the relationship aspect. People want to do business with someone they can trust, who's a real person. They don't feel like you're just going after their money. And when you take the time to get to know them, get to know their needs, not be a car salesman, but be a consultant, then they feel more comfortable with you, and just the experience is better on both sides.
It's not about closing deals. It's about opening relationships, helping people make the right choice. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we don't just promise to get the job done, we back it up. No travel charge, no show-up fee, no overinflated pricing, and no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional each and every day. O'Neill Plumbing.
Bump here letting you know the Ford Summer Sales event is happening now at West Hills Ford, where you can get the 2024 F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive at $14,982 off MSRP on approved credit. West Hills Ford, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Just a couple hours away before the Mariners' final game against the Brewers. This stretch, Brock, 17 in a row out of the All-Star break. They had a stretch close to the All-Star break exactly like that. Got one day off, then went right back to it. And now 17 in a row. Thoroughly important leading up to that trade deadline a week from tomorrow. And you look at this team, and we have kind of circled around everything that Jeff Passan told us, and now in his big trade deadline article out there, about why this is the year. Kind of a lot of different reasons about needing the urgency to part with prospects, even though it's painful, even though it might be difficult with guys that you learn, you know about them. So it's that familiarity that becomes difficult. I want to maybe phrase it this way to see if we get a different answer or if it kind of solidifies some thinking. When you look at this Mariners team right now, you've seen what they've done against the Tigers. And right here, this example in front of you, this Brewers series, they won last night. Where would you put the Mariners among the best teams in baseball right now?
I think they're a top 10 team in baseball right now. You know, I think they're pretty close to that kind of record-wise. They've kind of been in that spot through the power rankings of these 101 games over the course of the year, right? As you looked at it, maybe they've been as high as 5, 6, or 7. Maybe they've been as low as, 13, 14, 15. They're somewhere in that range. And so I'd probably put them right around 10, top third of baseball. And we know at their best, and just about any team in baseball can say this. Baseball's a little funkier certainly than football with the limited number of games, but their ceiling, right? We talk about floor and ceiling, maybe more in the other sports, maybe more in basketball and more in football than we do in baseball because it's such a long year and it's such a stair step from the floor to the ceiling of 160 some games. It takes twists and turns. But I think it's fair to say the ceiling of this club, they've expressed it. They can play with anybody and beat anybody and put real fear into any opponent they face, certainly in a 3-game set.
And Jeff Passan, in his big comprehensive trade deadline preview that is out now, has the Mariners among just a few teams in that teams that'll go big, the teams that should be all in at this trade deadline. Yankees, Cubs, Blue Jays, Phillies, and the Mariners. And Ryan Dempster on MLB Network, he picked the Mariners as the team that needs to make a bold trade deadline move.
I like Seattle Mariners here. Make it. Let's go. And now's the time. 2001, they won their division. It has been 24 years since they won a division. They won 2 playoff games in 2022. Those are wild card games, and they haven't won a playoff game since that 2001 other than that. So make the big, bold move. You got all these pitching pieces. Trade from your strength. You have all these starters. Go get that impact back. Go get that Eugenio Suarez. Go get some more power in that lineup.
Gino could go back to Seattle.
Why not?
Why not, Brock?
Yeah, and I think there's also, right, so if that's the positive and that's the ceiling side of it, Mike, it's also, well, there is a floor. And that floor was in that, Pirates series at home. It was, one run, no runs. This series, it's no runs, it's 1 run, right? I mean, you also see some of the struggles, and certainly against elite pitching and difference makers that you're going to see kind of down the stretch and hopefully into a playoff run. It would be really nice to add another bat. I'm with Jeff Passan, by the way. I said this a couple weeks ago. The more that we've talked through this, Eugenio is a very popular name. It's a beloved name. He's absolutely on fire, but there are peaks and valleys. There is some Nelson Cruz, Julio Rodriguez to a Eugenio Suarez's game, whereas to me, Naylor on the other side, just as big a need, a corner infield guy. Naylor's a lot steadier. Maybe not great split-wise, platoon-wise, I get it, but he's going to give you a great at-bat. He's going to be a threat to take the ball out of the yard. He's been in those moments before in playoff runs. If push comes to shove and I can only have one bat, I do think he'd be the bat for this offense and the needs in this offense. I think he'd be – it's kind of crazy to say because Eugenio's hit 30-something home runs and is as hot as you can possibly get. But for me in this offense, I think I would still prefer Naylor versus a Eugenio.
And let's distill it to as simple as this. If you can win the World Series, you go try to win the World Series. That seems obvious, but there are still some people out there in a faction of fans that do not want to try to go win the World Series. And this is not me. This is a Ryan Dempster or a Jeff Passan who told us yesterday during the interview. We came back and we analyzed that. And if you missed it, it was Passan breaking it down why this Mariners team could go to the World Series. And then if you're in the World Series, of course, you have a chance to win the World Series.
Reason number one, because it is a wide open landscape in Major League Baseball. There is no dominant team. And if you can put yourself in the position where you get one of those golden tickets to get into October and you have the starting pitching and you have the bats, then you can win a World Series. I firmly believe the Seattle Mariners can win a World Series this year.
Let it sink in there.
And that's even without the additions, because then he turned it on us and said, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I think we watch every pitch, every inning, every day of this team and do see, as we're so close to it, some of the limitations offensively and where, and frankly, even in the bullpen too.
Well, I think
right?
he was, because he was answering your question on why he said this was the most important
Trade
deadline for Dipoto and Hollander. So I think he was saying if they get that right, then they're not without additions.
Yeah.
Which we're going in with that assumption too, right? You and I and everyone, I believe, would be very surprised if this Mariners team right now, as constructed, lineup-wise, is still the Mariners team after July 31st.
Yes.
So under that assumption, yes, you can win a World Series because of what we've seen from this lineup at times during the season. And then you add to that. You take away some of those weaknesses or some of the areas that are a little deficient, where if a guy like Ben Williamson, who has become a fan favorite, he's good defensively, he's a liability at times on offense. If he's not the everyday hitter in that lineup and he's coming off the bench or he's a late inning defensive replacement, that upgrades your roster. If Luke Raley is just a platoon guy and he's not playing every day, he's coming off your bench for some scenario, that upgrades your roster. You're not getting rid of these guys. You're just not relying on them to be these everyday players, because there have been times where you could see areas where if they're coming off the bench, instead of taking 4 at-bats a game, that lineup gets a little deeper and gets a little better.
Yeah, and you're absolutely echoing what I've heard from sources down there is we want to elevate this team. And we're going to be nimble and flexible and fluid enough, Mike, that if it is a reliever, in a leverage reliever, in a difference making, a difference making reliever, they need that. If it is a possible starter or a 4th or 5th starter, because you don't know about Bryce, Logan Evans on a restriction, maybe Logan Evans is moved, and you need to find a replacement for him. Like, they are going to be open for business to elevate the overall talent of this team in any which way possible. And you know what else? History has shown us they will be active. They were really active a couple years ago and took the big swing and landed the big fish, and it made a difference in their playoff run in Luis Castillo. Even in years where they have not been this setup or the league has been even stronger around them, they have still made moves. They will be active over the next 7 days, and it will be some must listen and must watch kind of news as it breaks over the period. And hopefully sooner than later, but deadlines spur action, and will probably be much later, like next Wednesday or Thursday.
I was going to say, what the only thing I'm thinking about is not what move. It's when the news breaks.
Yeah.
You want to be that you want to be that group
yeah.
on the air, but it's the show of newsbreakers, Bump and Stacy. So pay attention sometime between 10 and 2, and I'm sure some Mariners trade news will break. But we'll catch you up on everything happening around the world of baseball and everything you need to know about the start of Seahawks training camp that begins later today. Yeah, it's here. Football season's here. Everything you need to know coming up next. Mike Lefko, Brock Huard with you. This is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, on this Wednesday morning, maybe you find yourself in the situation that Molly and I were in. So many of my friends and family have been over the years. You find yourself trying to figure out why in the heck are your insurance premiums going up and up and up, and you don't even know, frankly, what you've got covered. You're stressed. You're confused. Well, you need to do what we did. Take the First Mark Insurance Challenge and go find out. We heard so many First Mark Challenge victories that saved people so much money. We decided to take the challenge, and boy, am I glad we did. Not only has it saved us big-time money on our premiums, I know exactly what we've got covered. Here's how they do it. Here's how they go to work for you, like they've done for us, for my parents, many of my friends. They fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. Then, well, unlike all of us, they can go to the market. Dozens of major carriers they've worked with for decades to find you and your situation the very best fit. That's it. No stress, no confusion. Think of it this way. First Mark's your teammate, right in the lineup with you. And they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families successfully manage this complicated world of insurance. So don't wait. Take the First Mark Challenge. And did I mention it's totally free? And you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. It's all right there. Firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate that goes to work for you.
Planning a road trip? Plan a visit to your neighborhood Bucky's Complete Auto Repair for oil changes, brakes, AC repair, and factory maintenance. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit buckys.com.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, two-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Celebrate 40 years of The Bite. The Bite of Seattle returns to Seattle Center, July 25th to 27th. Over 300 food and retail vendors, plus games and live music. Admission is free. Enjoy a Seattle summer tradition at The Bite of Seattle with delectable multicultural cuisine, live entertainment, and fun for everyone. Enjoy a Friday night screening of Pixar's Ratatouille at the Mural. Taking over Seattle Center July 25th to 27th. Come to The Bite, biteofseattle.com.
Rick Riz here, and it's the final month to submit your nomination for Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Pella's owners are donating $5,000 to 2 local youth sports organizations. Many local teams are in need of new equipment, field improvements, or uniforms. If you know a team who could use funding, nominate them at seattlesports.com/play. Join Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington and help our local youth thrive. Go to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a team in need right now.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Seahawks training camp begins today, later this afternoon. So the first practice, the first really sense of NFL life for this intriguing rookie class of the Seahawks. A lot to watch with these rookies. And after the offseason, all the OTAs and the minicamp came to an end, Mike McDonald broke down his message to the rookies.
And our message to them is just like, look, we're just going to you're going to just go through it. Just stay in the fight with it. And at some point, those connected tissues are just going to connect a little bit quicker the next time, and then connect a little bit quicker the next time. All of a sudden, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're going to be, being productive, being able to make plays, contribute to the team. Give yourself a chance to make the squad and really prove yourself at the beginning of your career. So, but right now, like all the inputs, really pleased with that, and we'll see how the summer goes with them. And we got to take that momentum into training camp.
Brock, is this one of the most intriguing rookie classes you can remember in recent history? The 2022 class showed out, and they have been a big part of this team, but with the expectations of guys that have come in and perhaps project to be almost immediate starters, where would you rank your intrigue about this rookie class?
Here's the second thing you need to know.
We lost you there, Brock, I think.
Never mind.
Lyle just wanted to mute you. He didn't want your answer.
You okay, Lyle?
My bad.
Where's the music? You all right? Everything okay in there?
He's getting you back for the past couple of days.
Sure, thanks. No, I'd put that crew with JSN and Spoon probably, right? Just because they're such premium blue chip picks. But no, I totally get it. Gray Zabel is going to be a day one starter for you. Jalen Milroe, anytime you draft a quarterback and you draft one at the highest level since Russell Wilson, you're going to have eyes on him. So, no, there's definitely some fireworks there. And I'll say this too. Like, as a rookie, today was such a weird day. Mm-hmm. Because this is, like first day of training camp. Like, you've done all the OTAs and everything, so there's just a little bit of nerves. But at the same time, this is stuff that's like base stuff. Like you come in and you actually do feel pretty good about everything that's installed, and you're going to run today. Now, next week, 1 week from now, and you start to swim a little bit, and those synapses aren't firing as fast because you're overloaded with more and more and more. Training camp gets a little tougher the longer it goes. For the young guys.
It feels like, you have your starting fullback, starting tight end, potentially some role for Eamon Warren. Still don't really know how he will be utilized. He's going to be everywhere. And then Gray Zabel, obviously.
For sure.
Yeah, It's going to be a fascinating rookie class. So the Mariners, they need just one win here to take the series against the Brewers because a huge Cal Raleigh home run last night. Logan Gilbert also turned in his finest performance since opening night. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, no runs allowed, just 2 hits. Retired the first 12 he faced. And how about this opportunity, Brock, with Luis Castillo on the mound? His home splits have been fantastic this year. Mariners have a chance to take the series against the Brewers, who had come in winners of 11 in a row, winners of 10 in a row, and the best record in baseball.
You know what last night was? Somewhere Mike Heward was watching that game and nodding along. He doesn't really listen to the show very often, but I will text him and let him know, hey, man, I quoted you when you always talked about your best players need to be at their best on the biggest stage. And that was last night, right? I mean, that was Logan, Cal, 2 of your very best players on the team being the biggest difference makers, getting that win. And, hopefully Luis can just do what he did against the Astros. Just go 6 shutout and give these boys a chance to put up some runs and win a great series against these Brewers. All right, next line.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Are you searching for you're searching right now, aren't you? You're trying to get your horrible take. I know what you're doing.
Is that what's happening?
Lyle?
Trash takes coming up at 9:45?
What are you doing?
Honestly, no.
Are you multitasking?
Well,
what are you
I'm trying.
The operative word trying instead of doing.
We heard that you aren't good at multitasking, Brock. So
I'm not. I tried.
You guys will work on that with Lyle and yourself.
I tried to tweet the boys a fall during that break, and I couldn't do it. Video unavailable. Video unavailable.
That's
video
right.
unavailable.
Guys, women are the best multitaskers.
That is 100% true, Maura, and there's no debate about that.
You're right. You did actually promise last hour that after the segment was done, you were going to come back a little misty-eyed. That video was going to be out there.
I was dropping the boys off, and I was trying to post a video, and I couldn't do it both. So I apologize.
Ew.
Wow. Okay. We don't need to hear any of that. All right.
Is that everything you need to know?
No, we haven't even gotten to the third need to know. Right. So we'll get to that because this is what happens when we kind of get derailed. I feel like I did a good job until now. I was very proud of how we kind of kept these last 3 days on topic. You didn't yell bear randomly too much. You weren't yelling Drago like that's happened in the past. But all right, we've become derailed right now. The final thing you need to know, Brock, this wild card race, a little more favorable for the Mariners. The Red Sox lost last night, so the Mariners are in the second wild card spot. Game up on the Red Sox. Rays did win. They scored 4 runs, held on to beat the White Sox 4-3. So the Rays have put some pressure on that final spot, just a half game behind the now Red Sox in the third spot. And the Rangers, we kind of mentioned they got a really strong start from Jacob deGrom. They won last night. They've won the first 2 against the A's, so they're just a game and a half out of a final wild card spot.
Yeah, and I think all that is just fuel. It's just further fuel that you throw onto this decision that you've got looming in 7 days and they know it, and they know it in their building. This is not one of those situations that Jeff Nelson's got to go bang on the door, hey, make a move, let's do something like it was 20 years ago. They know exactly what they need to do, what they want to do. Now it's about finding that partner on the other side of the equation in this market, a seller's market, to find that buy-sell that can hopefully be a win-win for both.
Couple more Seattle things you do need to know. The Kraken signed forward Capo Caco to a 3-year contract. Love that name. I know how much you love that name, Brock, as does Salk. 10 goals and 20 assists in the 49 games he played with them after they traded for him in mid-December. And then some news that just came out recently. This is really cool. Bobby Wagner has joined the Seattle Storm ownership group. He's the first active NFL player to have an equity stake in a women's pro sports franchise, WNBA there. It must be the WNBA because I think Mahomes has a stake in soccer. So I guess in the WNBA, he's the first active athlete to have an equity stake. But Bobby Wagner keeping some ties here to Seattle. He's such an influential part of the Seahawks and the Seattle community. So these Seahawks, we talked about the other day, where all these former Seahawks, they stay in town, they stay in the community, they stay involved with everything that happens in this city. And now, Bobby Wagner, part of the Storm ownership group.
And so do a bunch of former Mariners, like a Danny Wilson and Edgar Martinez, and guys that
they still
make their
work
home here. They still do, and part of it's because they made their home here, and they wanted to be here and be in this community, and now they get to manage a team and have continued to be a part of it. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, hey, the Seahawks preseason home opener is August 7th. We want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the Seahawks take on the Raiders in person. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab, and you'll find out how. Now, if you don't have the app, simply text APP to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download. Your chance to win 4 tickets, and if you enter daily, it increases your chance to win. This contest runs through Monday, July 28th. All right, we'll get to Trash Takes at 9:45, but coming up next, there are some NFC West storylines that could affect how the Seahawks are perceived in the division and what actually happens in the NFC West this season. We'll weigh in on those coming up next. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. High five. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25. New customers only. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Summer is here and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey friends, Stacy here. Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn is celebrating its 103rd year anniversary, and their biggest sales event of the year is going on right now. Take advantage of their great pricing on new Fords, Isuzus, and commercial vehicles. Also, large discounts on their service and parts departments. What about those of you who want to sell a car? Wayscar Ford's vehicle profit sharing plan is the best deal out there. They purchase your car and pay you right up front. Then, when Wayscar Ford resells your old car, they share 50% of their profit with you. They've already paid back over $800,000 to customers. At Wayscar Ford, there's absolutely no games, no gimmicks, and no pressure. That's backed up by a full 5-day or 500-mile no questions asked return policy on absolutely every vehicle they sell. Change your mind for any reason, bring the vehicle back for a full 100% refund. So if you're like me, you want a good price, a low-key, no-pressure experience, and a full 5-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee, Wayscar Ford is the place to go. Check them out for yourself at wayscarford.com. Wayscarford.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Brock, we've had a good sense of the perception around the Seahawks team when it comes to the split between locally and nationally. Mm-hmm. And almost the inverse of how the Mariners are viewed. We just heard from Jeff Passan and Ryan Dempster and all these guys that are very high on the Mariners and the belief that they have that this team is a World Series contender. This is certainly a team that can make a deep playoff run. The other side, I think a lot of us here are very high on the Seahawks. Certainly Dave Wyman, when I was filling in with him last week, really broke down everything he's optimistic about. You and I have gone through this over the past few days. Then you talk with someone like ESPN Seth Walder, where we had on, and he explained why the Seahawks, their roster is ranked 20th. Or you look at a list that Jeremy Fowler helps compile where they have those top 10 rankings, and the Seahawks only had 3 guys on there. Devin Witherspoon and Julian Love, both 10th. Leonard Williams, 6th. And you start to look around the NFC West, and we kind of think, all right, well, what is this Seahawks team? Are they really, talent-wise, the worst team in the division?
Right.
It's interesting. The Rams and Niners, we know their pedigree. The Cardinals, they have pieces. But I think that's going to be the fascinating dynamic to watch play out in training camp. And as you see these teams assemble their pieces for the start of this season, where this Seahawks roster stands in relation to the rest of the NFC West.
Yeah, and more change offensively, right? You bring in a new system, you bring in a whole new coaching staff and coordinator, and just the hard part for me, and I totally understand it, and what the work that Seth and the folks at PFF and the other even executives that Jeremy Fowler talks to, I totally understand where they're coming from. They're looking at data, they're looking at numbers, they're looking at some production from a Cooper Kupp last year and an MVS and kind of the pieces that you've used to replace DK and Geno and Tyler, and to them it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up, and thus you're power ranked in the 20s, or you don't have players in these premier spots that are star difference makers. But I just keep coming back to, and maybe this will be the year. Maybe the odds makers are right. Maybe the other executives are right. Maybe this is a year that you are under 500. But it is just so foreign. That's just not what this organization has been for year after year after year after year after year after year, right? I mean, they have just consistently, and what was supposed to be a total reboot a couple years ago, what'd they do? They go 9-8, go to the playoffs with Geno Smith, who'd been a nothing burger for a number of years. It just got mocked and you're going to go with Geno Smith. This guy can't play. Oh, really? He's a comeback player of the year, and they win 9 games. Well, you move on from Pete. You bring in a first-time head coach. Geno Smith is still there. He's nothing but mid in this league. And what do? You win 10 games. So I have a hard time trying to wrap my brain around why, if history tells us that, and Mike was able to do that year one, is it really just Geno and DK? Like I asked Seth, I point blank, would the Seahawks be 20th on this list if DK Metcalf and Geno Smith were the starting receiver and quarterback? And what did he say? He said, no, they wouldn't be. They'd be higher. Well, I mean, would you want, as we sit here with the ball getting teed up and kicked off in just a couple hours to start training camp, would you rather have Mike, Lyle Moore, would you rather have Geno Smith and DK Metcalf here today at 1 o'clock? Or would you rather have Sam Darnold and MVS and Cooper Kupp in the direction that you've decided to go? Because I'd take door number 2.
Well, that's, I think, a different short-term versus long-term answer. As we kind of talked about to start our little mini week together, Brock, on Monday when we came on. Short-term, yes, I'd rather have Geno Smith and DK Metcalf for this simple season. But there are extraneous factors.
Why?
Because they have a proven pedigree over someone by committee that you're making up with at the receiving core. The JSN's never been.
Cooper Kupp's got a pretty.
This is not the Cooper Kupp of 2021. We know that. He's still probably a fine receiver. Yeah, I am
sure?
sure. Yes, because he hasn't replicated that production since 2021. And we don't know what JSN is as a 1, but you can't just put it that simply. And so that's why I think long term the Seahawks have positioned themselves.
I can and I will. I can and I will.
I'm trying to agree with you. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to agree with you that over the course of the next few seasons, when they needed salary cap space and they needed to build more of a team around this group, you can't build with Geno and DK. So you were limited to what their ceiling was. And it helps break the good to great that I always like to credit you for, that you like to get back to that. So the Seahawks might have had a good team this year, and it might be better in the short term with those two, but they were never going to get to great with those two and what they were asking for contract-wise. So that struggle for the Seahawks to finally break out of goodness and get to greatness, that can start now, and we might see that with these draft classes since 2022.
How big of a delta do you think that is in the short term?
In the short term between them getting good to great, or those two guys?
Yeah, just you personally. How big of a delta do you think it is to go from Geno to Sam, and then to go from DK to really now MVS and Cooper? Do you,
the quarterback one
like
is
in 2025.
The quarterback delta is smaller than the receiver group.
Okay.
That drop off in receiver, you were the one that kind of pushed back on me when we talked about home run threat. And you said, when what are you watching for at Seahawks training camp?
Yep.
There's no home run threat. So you drop off a little bit there.
Yep.
The proven talent behind JSN, it's an uncertainty about what version you're getting of Cooper Kupp, who has done everything in this league, but he's not the same Cooper Kupp because of injuries, because of durability concerns. MVS, solid receiver. He's bounced around on a couple of teams, so you're not sure what you're going to get from him. And putting it all together in a new system with a quarterback that had the benefit of, by the way, one of the best deep threats in football last year, how that all looks with an offensive line that's undergoing a makeover. So that's my short-term answer.
Okay.
And I was trying to spin all this back around to something that we kind of got derailed on, but that's okay because I like this conversation of short-term versus long-term for this team. I was going to say, and get back to what Greg Cassell said here, that he's actually one of the few who seem more optimistic about this Seahawks group than kind of other national analysts because of the potential for growth for Darnold and the connection and that they have between Darnold and Clint Kubiak and what that partnership will lead to with this team and with this offense.
The reason they signed Darnold is because Kubiak is sort of the old school, let's put the quarterback under center, let's run this zone run game, predominantly outside zone. And when you look at what Darnold did last year in Minnesota under Kevin O'Connell, he had the second most play action dropbacks under center in the league. Jared Goff was first, Darnold was second, and he was phenomenal at it. He was super efficient. So I'm sure they see him as a really strong fit in the offense of Kubiak.
Yeah, cosign. If I got to answer that, like delta between Gino and Sam, the one element that none of these national folks can know, they just can't because they're not here on the daily. And it's not measured by yards or efficiency or decision-making and those things that they can look at and grade. They don't know just from a leader, like just not even leader. Leader's the wrong word. It's just persona, just personality, right? And it is cool getting a chance to do what I'm doing right now. It's giving me, and I was hoping it would give me new optics, right? To bring to these kind of conversations, and you just see it. You just see it on a football team. Like, golly, I just want to be around that guy. I just want to, it was what Jarran Reed said about getting in a locker room and putting your phones down and just connecting with guys. It's the Mike McDonald cut you played earlier for these rookies to build connective tissues with people. And Sam Darnold is a connector. And Gino, that's not in the DNA. He's kind of a stubborn, hard-headed, volatile, hot-tempered, still lead, still unbelievably competitive, still super productive, still comeback player of the year. And I don't diminish any of that. But as far as like a glue guy that like I want to be around, he's never going to be carried in a locker room on their shoulders. It was just never going to happen. Much like with Russell Wilson at the end. Like it was the same deal. Like just not a glue guy, not a connector. Sam is. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that. So whatever that delta is, to me, kind of gets closed by just the personality, just the dude, just the guy that you'll hear from everyone around there. Like, this guy's just one of us. And I'm kind of excited to see that. Now, I think you're right with DK. There's a delta, and it's a bigger delta because he is a home run threat, because he does strike fear, because opposing defenses do have to prepare for him. And I didn't think we'd mention Torrey Horton's name 3 times on this show. But I will say, Mike, he becomes an intriguing figure in this because he's different than the others. And Maura, you do the fantasy football thing, and I think you've seen this just about each and every year. You do your drafts, and you kind of know who the big productive difference makers are. Doesn't it feel like every year there's like a 3rd or 4th round or 5th round receiver on some team somewhere that pops, and you're like, who's this guy? Where did he come from in Green Bay? Where did he come from in Houston? Where did he come from? Like receivers have that opportunity, and to be supported by JSN and all that experience with Cooper Kupp, I kind of, this has been kind of instructive. I'm kind of more intrigued by Torrey Horton than I was before this day started. And nice that he is fully cleared and is full go, and kind of excited to see, because in the draft class, the Daniel Jeremiahs, the Mike Mayocks, they all pointed to him. Like, had that dude been healthy, there is no way he would have fallen. He could have been a top 50 dude, and top 50 dudes can make a difference in a hurry.
And I guess that gets to your point that we know how diligent the Seahawks are with injuries. if there's some concern from a past or potential future injury, that they will just not draft a guy. There are certain guys, no matter what, and other teams will draft that guy. The Seahawks will not have on their board. They will strike them for their board or not go after in free agency. When it came to the guard discussion, all this, the whole offseason, and the consternation over no guards and why were there no free agent guard signings, and a guy like that who identified as perhaps a good fit, something injury-wise that they were not comfortable with. So the fact that they are comfortable with Horton, who had some injury history, I guess that is encouraging. And I would add that to another thing to watch, just him specifically. As you were talking through all your things there, can he crack that crowded wide receiver room, but provide the alternative to what you think you're going to get out of Kupp and JSN and MVS?
Yeah, he's got a little something different. I mean, MVS can still run. I mean, he's still a fast guy, but he's he's a little longer in the tooth as well, and has endured some injuries over the course of his career. Lyle and I were down at spring training, Mike, and I think both Lyle and I kind of snuck away, and it was a morning that the youngsters were there. The veterans got to sleep in or had the day off and were in later for the night game, and we went around the corner, and there was Felny and Celestine. Remember that, Lyle? Like, whoa, that just sounds different. Like you could hear it. Like you didn't even see it. You could hear it. Like, I wonder who's in the cage. And we kind of wrap around there, and there he is. And the ball off of his bat just sounded different than so many of those other developmental players. Torrey Horton's the same way in this group. Like, that dude's twitch and that guy's speed, and when healthy, that guy's burst. That guy's a threat in some ways that this wide receiver room could really use, in a way that Jake Bobo and Derek Young, different skill sets. They're not that kind of guy. They're possession guys. He could be a difference maker. And as this goes on, maybe a name we got to keep an eye on a little bit more than maybe we thought.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to potential versus proven production. Because when you were discussing Sam Darnold and the impact on the locker room, that's great. But if it doesn't translate to on-field performance, then you can have a great locker room and guys can get along. But if you're not winning games, things start to fray. And so if you're talking about that national perception of the Seahawks when it comes to, well, maybe being a little bit down in projections for the NFC West getting better, returning starters on offense seems to be the big key. And if there's one thing in the Seahawks' favor, it's they have that proven track record on defense now with Mike McDonald. The offense just seems to be the biggest uncertainty. I think here we know that it was a lot of chaotic noise behind the scenes last year with a first-time play caller and with maybe some frustrated veterans. And now that potential, all right, you have things smoothed over. You have a play caller that you believe in that has a track record in the NFL and the pieces that fit what Clint Kubiak wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, if Sam Darnold is what Vegas thinks he's going to be, and the prop there for him and the over-unders were 21 touchdowns and 13.5 picks, if those are the numbers, then you're going to be a whole lot closer to what these national pundits think you are. You're going to be the 20th best team in the league probably. But if his numbers are anywhere near what they were a year ago with over 30 touchdown passes, then this team is going to win this division. He throws 30 touchdown passes, this team's going to win this division. The likelihood of that happening, probably low, because they're going to run it more than they're going to throw it this year. That's going to be an intent from them from day number one, practice number one at 1 o'clock today. But, yeah, his production will obviously go a long way to silencing some of these narratives going in that don't give these guys a lot of credit.
Our Seahawks coverage of training camp is brought to you by The Landing in Renton. There will be plenty of it because, yeah, today's just day one. And then you have that whole sprint up to the start of the season. First preseason game on Thursday, August 7th. So a lot to talk about over these next few weeks with the Seahawks. But right now, I'm excited for this. It's time for Trash Takes.
I got you.
Get it together. Don't look like trash. Lyle,
Trash
get it together.
Takes.
It's a bunch of trash.
Oh, gosh. I thought it was trash.
On Brock and Salk.
That's a terrible take.
What a fitting start to that segment.
Lyle, get it together.
I'm excited because Maura has explained to me, and yes, I've listened to it before, that Salk holds all the power here. So just this little power rush that I'm getting, that I get to judge all your takes, right, and determine a winner. That's going right to my head.
Salk has a hat, but I don't know if it's sanitary.
He actually wears a hat.
Yeah, so.
Really? Okay. What does it say?
Trash master.
Trash master?
It's a trash master.
I don't need to put it on. That's okay.
Yeah,
I'll just hold I'll hold the honorary mantle.
I bet you, even if Salk's listening right now, he's kind of ticked you're doing this.
Yeah,
because he's the trash master.
He is. I'm not going to take the title. I'm just filling in. I'm the interim trash man. I'm not even calling myself the master, but I get to make the ruling, and I love this little rush of power.
How many in a row have I won? 3, 4? I've kind of lost track. How many have I won?
You said it was 3 last week, but I thought Lyle had won one in there.
No,
no. Okay.
Nope.
No, I'm pretty sure
Check
I've won
the tape.
one.
All right.
No, you
now we see us to get it together.
No, you went on a stretch.
No, I thought he had won one of the last 3.
The 3 of us are like Major League Baseball this year. There's no dominant winner. Each of us have had our stretches.
Well, Brock started winning once he found the website that he knows is legit that pumps out bad takes.
Yeah,
so.
once I stopped looking at NBA Centel, I had a better shot.
Yeah.
So since I've been the 3-time winner, and Lyle, since it's been a disastrous hour for you, you get to go first.
I really don't think it's been so bad. Anyway.
Just 2 of the 3 segments have been bad.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, we're joking. All right, yeah, go for it, Lyle.
So, I didn't pull the audio because there's a lot of cursing in it, but D. Gordon was on this podcast a few days ago, and he was talking about how he claims that people told him in 2015 purposely to not win the batting title, like the batting average title, because they claimed there was somebody that they wanted to win the Triple Crown. He said, they told me, don't go out and win the batting title, don't go out and lead the league in average, because we want somebody else to win the Triple Crown. He claims the league came to him and told him that. Well, not only does that not seem incredibly far-fetched, but the guy he was talking about, who he didn't want to name, would have been Bryce Harper. The problem is, even if he had not won the average title, Bryce Harper still wouldn't have won the Triple Crown because he wasn't leading an average. So maybe D didn't fully do a fact check here, but yeah, he's going on and on this podcast about how, like Major League Baseball came to me and said, you better not win this batting title because we want somebody else to win the Triple Crown, only for that still not to be the case. So the take seems kind of far-fetched because I'd have a hard time believing the league would put that in his ear, and then it still wasn't the case in terms of the point he was making.
Yeah, I think as Bryce Harper would say, that's a clown premise, bro. He didn't say premise, but
it's a play on words. That was good.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. That's a lot to kind of just throw out there, because who would be the guy coming to him? What part of Major League Baseball? Not the commissioner. So one of his lackeys.
Yeah. Isn't he D. Strange Gordon?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. D. Strange
like
Gordon.
D. Strange Gordon. That's very strange.
All right. That's an interesting one. All right. Who's next? Brock, you gonna go? You gonna cede to Mora?
You know what? I've had a good run here of going second, so I'll go second here. This is personal to me, so I probably have a strong bias since my brother is the offense coordinator at USC. But Paul Feinbaum, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Oh, is something to
the
play?
thing that I'm most excited about Big Ten Media Days is I want to hear Lincoln Riley try to explain his last 2 years, because I can't think of anybody whose coaching has been more fraudulent since his first year with Caleb Williams. And I say that as somebody who admired what Lincoln Riley did at OU. I didn't admire the way he left, but I really think, and I know a lot of people are still gnashing teeth in Norman and Oklahoma City and across that state, but I frankly believe the Sooner Nation is better off today than it would have been had he stayed around, because there is something wrong with this guy, Dorian. I know we don't have time. I know we're at the end of the segment, but I did want to close on that note. I am underwhelmed, and I can't think of a coach in modern time who's making the kind of money that he's making who has done less.
Wow.
What do you have a problem with there?
Fraudulent?
Yeah.
They've not been good enough. Caleb Williams doesn't pull his hamstring. They make the playoff his first year at USC. He fostered the number 1 pick in the draft in Caleb, which he's done over and over and over and over and over and over and over. The most fraudulent coach? Yeah, they've not been good enough. They did not have the talent. Sorry. Judge him when he's got the talent, and they're assembling the talent. Number 1 recruiting class in America. Like, come on, Paul. Be better than that. There's fraudulent coaches. That's not Lincoln Riley. It's not even close.
He went to the extreme, but Yeah, the underachieving part.
That's what this segment is. It's trash.
That's what I'm going to say. There are some points he made in there, but he just takes it too far because he's Paul Feinbaum. So he went way to the end.
It's just a trash take.
All right, so that's your submission. We'll see. I'm a little underwhelmed by that one, Brock. Got to be honest. It's up to Maura. It's up to Maura now.
By the way, there was 0.00 chance I was going to win this segment, so I know that. Okay, go ahead, Maura.
Is that because Lefko's here? Or?
Exactly.
Okay.
Wait, why?
Oh.
What? Wouldn't you think I would favor you?
No.
No?
Absolutely.
Why not? Okay.
Go ahead, Maura.
Is this because you called out my love life the other day? That's why?
No.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to go with
bias. I have no bias.
You have a love life?
I have no bias in this. Well, now you're not winning. But that was true. Not a trash take there. Wow.
All right,
Good
Lyle,
job,
it's
bro.
you and me in the running now. I'm going with the trash takes regular, Cam Newton, on his show 4th and 1, discussing Jalen Hurts.
And I know everybody's going to get mad at this. Cam hating on Jalen Hurts. It's hard for me to grade Jalen Hurts with the talent that he has around him. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. But if we're talking about what they bring to the table holistically, it's hard to judge what Jalen Hurts can do when you're throwing to a guy like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. When you have tight end skill set, you have a dominant defense, the best running back in the game. Download Madden and see how many stars is on the offensive side of Philly.
I would just like to point out,
in there. There you go.
I don't know if Cam forgot, but when he went to the Super Bowl in 2015, he had a top 6 defense. Greg Olsen was actually 17th in yardage with 1,104 yards, 77 receptions. That's actually more than A.J. Brown had last year. Devontae Brown had 68 receptions for 833 yards last year. Ted Ginn Jr. had 44 for 739 and also had 10 touchdowns. Jonathan Stewart was the 7th ranked running back that season. So, yes, I mean, Saquon Barkley led the league last year. The Eagles had the top defense. But I think Cam Newton's, he didn't go to the Super Bowl with scrubs. I think he's not too far off in having a lot of talent around him when he went as well.
Well, I was just looking this up. It looks like that with Jalen Hurts, this is an article because you can track this pretty easily from ESPN at the end of December last year. The Eagles are 1-3 when he doesn't start. And they're, at this point, in mid-December, they're 45-17 with him.
Yeah, he was ranked 10th in total QBR last year.
Wow. All right. Well, it seems obvious to me, the trash fill-in master. No bias whatsoever. I think there's a pretty obvious winner here. Maura Dooley wins trash take of the week. The win streak's over for Brock, whether it's 2, whether it's 4. You're fraudulently claiming you have a 4 trash win streak.
Brock's going to claim paddleboard buddy bias.
Yeah. Maura wins. Maura wins trash takes. That'll do it for our show today. A lot of fun. Brock, this was fun these past few days. We'll get the pro back in here. Salk will be back in here. Bump and Stacy coming up next. A lot to talk about from Seahawks training camp. But, Brock, I think there's one thing to do right now. The hay.
Barn. It's in the barn today.
Get to the chopper!
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to the ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now.
This thing on
and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we don't just promise to get the job done, we back it up. No travel charge, no show-up fee, no overinflated pricing, and no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional each and every day. O'Neill Plumbing.
Introducing frequent flights between Boeing Field and a private terminal at Portland Airport. Seaport Airlines is transforming travel with convenience, comfort, and free parking just steps from your plane. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
Rick Riz here, and it's the final month to submit your nomination for Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Pella's owners are donating $5,000 to 2 local youth sports organizations locations, many local teams are in need of new equipment, field improvements, or uniforms. If you know a team who could use funding, nominate them at seattlesports.com/play. Join Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington and help our local youth thrive. Go to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a team in need right now.
Cool cars, cool people, good times. The Good Guys 37th Griot's Garage Pacific Northwest Nationals, presented by Wicked Fabrications, July 25th to the 27th at the Washington State Fair Event Center. Over 2,500 classics, an earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest, tire smoke and burnout competition, and don't miss Good Guys Friday night vintage drags at Pacific Raceways in Kent. All this weekend at the Washington State Fair Event Center in Puyallup. Details at good-guys.com.
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event, now extended through July 27th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event extended to July 27th. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new, and First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners try to take a series from the Brewers today in a matinee series.